one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to say it again. Don't you just love saying that? We are celebrating the United States here is 250 years old, and we're for freedom. We are celebrating it, and I cannot say how happy I am that we have the right to pledge to our beautiful flag. Before we get things started, I would like to call Pastor Sean Peters to the podium. We have a proclamation that we would like to give him. I will be right down there in one moment. Of the bicentennial for Pekin First United Methodist Church. They actually had their first gathering at the home of Jonathan Tharp, and from there, their church was then formed. I would like to give Pastor Sean Peters a few moments to say a few things, but first I want to say that now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mary J. Burris, Mayor of the City of Pekin, Illinois, do hereby proclaim March 23rd, 2026 as Pekin First United Methodist Church Bicentennial Day. So, here is your proclamation. I would also like to give him a city coin, and I'll say this after the end, but you go ahead and take over and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's a privilege and an honor to accept this on behalf of the church. Pekin First United Methodist Church is a wonderful church. I've been with it all 200 years, and honestly, just the last couple, but it is a wonderful church, and we're grateful and thankful for this honor. We have a number of wonderful opportunities for you to connect with the church this year, bicentennial activities and events. I know Val has distributed some cards and information about that, but please feel free to join us for worship or for any of our activities this year. We'd be grateful to have you. Thanks so much.
Pastor Peters, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as they said, Val, I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything because she was passing these out. If anybody didn't get a card and would like to see activities that the church has, please get with Val here or raise your hand. Do you want to say something? Please do.
No. Oh, you all know me too well, don't you? Thank you so much. I'm Val Maley. I'm actually one of the co-chairs of our bicentennial Celebrate 200 team. And we really are excited because we're not just celebrating the past, but we are honoring the present, and we're also looking towards the future. A history of service in the Pekin community and in our state and actually around the world where we have touched lives in ways that we've just really found to be remarkable. It's really been exciting to dig into what has happened in the past and see how it's changed lives, how it's changed this community. And if you get a chance, you ought to check Josh's Throwback Thursdays every week on social media, and you can really see some cool stuff that's been going on and how this community has been impacted by the presence of this church over the past 200 years.
Yeah. Well, Val, I'm gonna say a few things.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot other than you helped build a home
Yes.
on North 5th Street. Can you fill us in on that?
Sure. So one of our key ministries that we've been involved in the past couple of years is what we call the Rock House Ministry. And as a part of that ministry, we first had a home donated to create a ministry that kind of bridged housing gap, right, in the community. And as a part of that, we ended up buying a trailer park on the north side of Pekin, eventually tearing down the trailers. The people moved into different housing situations, and we are in the process of building a duplex over there. And it'll be a part of a supportive, transformational housing ministry here in Pekin. And we're really excited. It's really volunteer-based, so it's going a little slower than we would have liked to have gone if you've ever worked with volunteers. And of course, we always need money, but we're really excited about how lives will be transformed through this ministry. And it's not our only ministry that's connected with the community, but it's perhaps the most visible one that we have. Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the city's support in that.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to do that.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Fletcher.
Here.
Councilmember Nutter.
Here.
Councilmember Hills.
Here.
Councilmember Abel.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoheimer.
Here.
And Mayor Burris.
Here. We have a quorum of 6-1. I will say that Councilmember Phillips did call, and she is ill tonight, so she will not be attending at all. Chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that the agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Mr. Abel. Any questions, comments, or concerns about the agenda? Seeing none, council, take your vote, please. Here we go. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would now entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes, 4.1 and 4.2.
Madam Mayor, I move that the minutes of City Council Special Meeting Minutes, Budget Work Session, February 27th, 2026, and City Council Regular Meeting Minutes, March 9th, 2026, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Mr. Abel. Any questions, comments, or concerns on either one of the minutes? Seeing none, council, take your vote. We don't have speakers out there. I'm. Are we good? Okay. Council, all right, oops. You know what? You're going to have to, let me see if I can do this. I was interrupted. Yeah. Motion passes 6-0. I apologize, goodness. Before we come to public input, our city council, Mr. Vasselli would like to say a few things. He has a presentation here.
Sure, if we could put up the slideshow. So, thank you, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the council. So we did a brief slideshow and looking at the Ludekin Agreement titled Navigating Municipal Contracts, the Analysis of City Exposure Under Illinois Law. I'll try to be brief.
That's all right.
If we could advance the slide.
Point of
Thank you.
order, Mr. Vasselli,
Yes.
can you have the crowd out there, please kind of hold it down because it's difficult to hear up here because the noise is going this way,
Sure.
the comments,
I
so.
thought about, I would love to shut the door, but
Well,
we
you
can't.
can't.
So, no,
But,
I thought that same
Please,
thing, we
just
can't hear.
so we can get through this and hear it, thank you very much.
Would you like to start over?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you, council member. Thank you, mayor. So it's called Navigating Municipal Contracts, and we engaged in a summary review of the WHP contract with the city of Pekin. And I want to put together some of these finer points as we continue to do this after last week's board meeting. I'm talking a little bit louder than I probably need to because I want to make sure the people outside and everyone can hear it's a crowded room.
That's what I did, a few weeks ago. I tried to talk really loud and got criticized.
So I hope no one gets offended that I'm talking a little bit louder. So I want to start off with the outstanding approvals needed by WHP to go forward. That the closing for WHP to purchase the property is wholly contingent upon obtaining or waiving zoning approvals for a data center, a site plan for a data center, and incentives through a redevelopment agreement for a data center. The cooperation clause states that the city is expressly obligated to cooperate in good faith and not unreasonably withhold, condition, or delay approvals. However, nothing in this contract stops the village board for voting their conscience, or council, from voting their conscience on a zoning approvals, a site plan, or redevelopment incentives. They are allowed to vote either way on any one of these issues. The purchaser still has to secure all of these approvals as part of their development process. Slide. What constitutes bad faith? So you might hear the term bad faith, and in the state of Illinois, there is an implied obligation to bargain in good faith. That is also in our cooperation clause. And it's failing to fulfill a legal obligation on purpose. It's the unreasonable delay, deliberately stalling zoning applications, pretextual denials, using contractual or municipal rights for unintended or alternative purposes, and sham bargaining, feigning negotiations on a redevelopment agreement or incentives. In other words, you have to accept applications for zoning and land use approvals as they come in. That does not mean you have to vote positively for them. You just have to take them. Slide. Exposure for the municipality. If there's a breach of contract and it's not based on wrongdoing, and I'm not talking about the wrongdoing or that's a further analysis of either party, the purchaser can sue for compensatory expectation damages or specific performance. And as we review the contract, if the city finds that WHP is in breach, just like WHP would do, a default letter would be sent. They would have a cure period under the contract, and then it would be analyzed at that point in time. 1983 claims the city can be sued for constitutional due process violations in some issues, and there is a shield that under the Illinois Tort Immunity Act, the city itself cannot be hit with punitive damages. Slide. Can council members be sued personally? They can theoretically, and while they aren't parties to the contract, they can be sued in tort, what's called tortuously interfering with a business expectation or a contract. Any third party who interferes with the discharge of a contract can be sued in Illinois. Whether it stands or not, that's for the judges to decide. But there is liability out there, as unlikely as it may be. Tortious interference. Taking intentional acts designed to induce a breach or disrupt the purchaser's valid business expectancy. And there's a key distinction in Illinois. You don't need to act evilly. You don't need to act with ill will. You just have to be acting intentionally and without just cause. Exposure personally is unlikely, but it's not unheard of. It has been done in United States laws. Slide. Limits of protection. General rule. Discretionary acts like zoning votes are protected by qualified immunity. In other words, if a person votes their conscience on a public policy issue and they vote no on a zoning application, they are not liable. That was in the contract. In the contract itself, it says that no votes are guaranteed. There's an exception. The willful and wanton conduct. Immunity is stripped if a member acts with deliberate intention to cause harm or conscious disregard of the purchaser's rights or the seller's rights, to be honest with you. There's another limited protection in here, and it protects the city. And we have a specific clause that says this contract will be governed under the police powers of the state of Illinois. So the city is obligated to act in the best interests of its residents. And again, there are numerous levels of approvals that will go through all this. Qualified privilege. The privilege is pierced if a member acts out of personal self-interest or political spite rather than legitimate city interest. Slide. Financial consequences for bad actors. And this is just a general statement of Illinois law that cities and municipalities have zero punitive damage risks. Individuals can be sued for punitive damages. That means damages in excess of normal damages to deter further conduct like that for tortious interference. Slide. Next steps. The express language of the contract requires additional approvals to be granted to the developer. I should say not granted, but applied for and then approved or denied by the city council for the developer. In other words, there are numerous hoops that need to be jumped through, that this board needs to know about before anything gets cited out there for anything. Right now, it is zoned in the lowest possible zoning designation by Illinois law. That's just a fact, and it's undebatable. The council members must be aware that bad faith obstruction exposes personal assets, and the council members need to be aware that we are doing a comprehensive review of this contract to see and ensure that WHP has met all of their obligations thereunder. Slide, conclusion. And I'll be very brief. I've already taken up too much time. WHP needs zoning and site plan approvals before anything else happens. Full stop. That there cannot be any approvals or steps or construction undertaken without zoning or site plan approval or incentives, or they are waived. But you can't waive zoning. You cannot waive zoning, and you cannot waive a site plan. And no one can site a data center at the property as currently zoned. It is not permitted under county law, state law, or local law. And again, that's an immutable fact. Thank you. I'm sorry I spoke so loud. I just wanted to make sure as many people could hear as possible.
You know, I get it, because I felt like I was talking loud the last time, too. Sorry. Go ahead. You're good? All right. Thank you, Mr. Vasselli. We have now come down to item 5, which is public input. Anyone wishing to have their voice be heard, please come to the podium. Make sure the mic is on. State your name. You have 5 minutes.
Who else needs, I guess, city clerk needs one here.
Do you want me to have Peg have a copy?
Yes.
I don't know, Mr. Vasselli? Yes, ma'am. Is it okay if she has this here state representative candidate? Is that electioneering? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. I'm so sorry.
I'm not going to read, I cannot read that part, that's fine. But this
Please-
is what
yeah,
I'm-
please
this
don't.
what-
Is
this
that
what I'm
okay?
gonna-
Can
this is
she
what I'm gonna
continue?
put on my website.
I know, I know
We
it.
cannot electioneer on public property.
That's fine,
We have been through this
okay?
time and time again. There is a pass out. You have 5 minutes.
Okay,
All right,
all right,
awesome.
I just, thank you,
I
Zoe.
will not read that part, all right?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Zoe Carter. I am actually going to release this after this meeting. It states that I, Zoe Carter, applaud the commendable efforts that the Honorable Mayor Mary Burris, Councilmember Rick Hilst, Councilmember Peg Phillips, Councilmember Jimmy Jake Fletcher, Councilmember Dave Nutter, Councilmember John Abel, and Councilmember and the Honorable Mayor Pro Temp Karen Hoheimer have taken in their passionate efforts in moving the city forward. Mrs. Carter also applauds the mayor and the council in their dedication and perseverance during one of the most passionate events in this great city's history. Mrs. Carter applauds the immense effort, work, and pride as well that the residents of the city of Pekin have shown over these past couple of months against a project that, while may have brought tax revenue to the city, has been universally agreed that should not be in this location. This data center project has brought together people of all walks of life, not because of being against wanting to see the city grow, but because they notice the communities that have received these data centers are now burdened with the rising property costs, utility costs, lower water tables, and failing infrastructure. In the case of Abilene, Texas, for example, a 1,000-acre tech data center crippled the economy of a city of 130,000 people and forced many longtime residents out of their own homes due to the rising costs from imported labor. Mrs. Carter acknowledges that the decision to rescind the data center was a difficult one for the council for multiple reasons, namely the lost tax revenue and possibility of lawsuits that may have an impact on her own tax base. However, she thanks the city for making that difficult decision, as a threat of a lawsuit, in her opinion, does not warrant further harming the environment, the populace, and the city itself. Mrs. Carter furthermore acknowledges the inherent difficulty in the position of being a public servant. It's a job that comes with great responsibility and pride, yet also comes with immense pressure and vitriol. As the first openly trans woman to apply to this position in this state's great history, she navigates a daily reality of death threats and physical violence simply for existing. These targeted attacks have ranged from online threats daily, sorry, I lost my spot, daily, to a truck driver trying to run her off a cliff in West Virginia and a biker attempting to shoot her at a rest stop east of Houston. The reality is that to be a public servant is to center the needs of your own community over the need of your own self at times. As Mrs. Carter puts it, if it was easy to be a politician, then everyone would be doing it. To the citizens of Pekin, Mrs. Carter again thanks you for the immense pride that everyone has shown in their community. She never imagined that the wide berth of citizens that came together against this project. And in doing so, has reinvigorated not only herself, but the pride in the city from the residents and the standing of this community across the region. Your efforts ring far and wide and have inspired people from Peoria to Rockford and even down in Memphis, Tennessee, where residents are currently fighting yet another AI data center being built by the company formerly known as Twitter. To everyone involved, Zoe Carter acknowledges the path forward will be difficult. There will be many residents who will attempt to steer the community in a direction that may not be feasible or wanted. And the future expenditures in this new era of Pekin may need to be adjusted. What's most important at this time is to ensure a transparent city government, a populace that remains engaged and open to change, and a city that works together towards a more vibrant, colorful, successful, and bright future. May the city of Pekin yet again become the blueprint for those who seek a better future for their own community.
Thank you.
I have a minute and 40 seconds left.
okay.
I'm going to switch this a little bit to some good news. Thank you for that. I wanted to invite everyone on the City Council and the community on April 12th. I am hosting and I'm not going to give this out because it has information on it, but I'm hosting a spring cleanup day for the community. Mrs. Mary Haynes from Maddie Mays has been gracious to open up her doors for us, provide refreshments, and we are going to go out and we are going to clean up downtown, we're going to pick up trash, and we're going to make it the city that we want it to be.
Very good.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Thank you.
Hi. If you don't know me yet, my name is Julianne McLaughlin. I have 4 things, so not too bad. All right, there was something mentioned at a council meeting a while back, and I wanted to bring that back up again, which was planning committees and involving the public in that. When will we hear back about this? Many folks are willing to help city staff plan sustainable, profitable ideas that we actually want. Maybe even a private meeting where I can inform of many ideas that have been presented to me for the property that the rest of the majority would be happy about. It would be nice to hear something about that. Next, Pekin has a problem with voter turnout. For local elections, less than 15%, or it's 15%, I have to double check that, but data center and solar farm developers are known to target municipalities with low voter turnout because of how easy it is to get their projects pushed through. How does the city plan to fix this and increase voter turnout so that we don't continue to be preyed upon by billion-dollar corporations? Next, raises. So in fiscal year ~24, admin personnel were given, or $100,276. Fiscal year ~25, $233,145. And proposed for ~26, $587,361. The city manager average pay in Illinois, according to ZipRecruiter, is $111,000. And if my sources are correct, ours, which you guys can verify, gets $271,000 a year, which is less than Peoria's. For a city with such a deficit, why? Why are they getting raises at such an exponential rate? 4, this is just a reminder for our city council and staff. Section 2E of the Illinois Open Meetings Act says, final action. No final action may be taken at a closed meeting. Final action shall be preceded by a public recital of the nature of the matter being considered and other information that will inform the public of the business being conducted. Thank you.
My name is
One
Kim.
moment, please.
Was that salary not correct? Is that
No,
what we're
absolutely
checking?
not. That is, you are correct. It is not correct.
No,
Yeah. We can
don't know if
correct
it's
the
on.
record, because that's what's going around town.
yeah,
I know it's pitiful.
I can
It's
get
really
something-
sad.
I can get something that clarifies it, but no, those numbers.
They are not correct. We'll let you know when he gets the numbers, what we have. We've got them somewhere, but not right in front of him. But no, they are not correct at all.
Okay. My name is Kim Bowers, and I would like everybody in this room to think about, why do you hire an attorney? You hire an attorney to keep you out of issues, not to have you in an issue and then to look at you and tell you, this is what you're facing. And this is exactly the issue that I had brought up initially, was you're negotiating against people that are going to deliberately try to bind your arms behind your back. And now we're going to have the helpful hints of your attorney. This needs to be done before the contract is signed. It's like you guys are out there like lambs without any representation. I mean, you should be able to get out of the contract fairly easily. It shouldn't be, you know, these are all your, this is how difficult it's going to be. It should be something that you're going to look at it, and if you can't get out of the contract, it should never be signed. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter. You knew very little about what you were signing. You were not aware of what exactly a data center was, and you're signing your name on the line with, in my opinion, without a lot of representation to keep you out of it.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, my name is Douglas Aerosmith, and I'm a
Good evening.
27-year employee of the city, and I'm not here to talk about the data center. I'm here to
Thank
talk
you.
about the RFP for solid waste that you'll be getting. And I think you've already had the memo since March 13th. There's some things in there that the city manager did not put that if you do change, there's no savings there anyway, and what little savings there are will exponentially be gone in 5 years. It will, it's ARROWSMITH, but I'll take the band too. There's
He was
10
rocking
people
out
in the
back there.
department, 10 employees, and 3 of us have over 20 years, and the rest have around 10 years to 15 years. So that's a decision that you're going to make, that there are lives behind the decision in this contract. In the memo, it states that GFL has not aggressively came after us to get our business, our garbage business. And they haven't, because they've aggressively bought up every single garbage company in the area. There is nothing out there except Waste Management and GFL. So if you give the solid waste to GFL in 5 years, GFL, whatever they say, now, granted, they're going to probably negotiate in good faith, but there's nobody else to pick the garbage up. Waste Management didn't put in an RFP, and you're stuck with GFL. They own the landfill. They'll own the transfer station in Pottstown. They own the recycling dump, and if they could, they probably would own the yard waste dump. It's pretty much a monopoly. All right, lastly, I'll leave you with this. Flexibility. Mr. Dawsey does talk about flexibility in his memo. You voted the last time because they still weren't cheaper than us. They're cheaper the first year, I think, and when I read that memo, but then it quickly disappears because we're going at $1 a year raise, which is way less than 5%, and they want 5% every year. So you voted the last time we did a RFP, and you kept us in-house. That was when Brett Olson was here. And you set a rate increase of $1 a year, which you promptly waived because of COVID for 4 years total. That flexibility will be gone. If you go with GFL, you're stuck with whatever the rates they do every year, unless you want to take it on the nose and bring it out of the budget. So the flexibility in service, I've asked numerous times for every one of you to come down to the solid waste and ride along with me, ride along with my driver, see what we do. See what we do other than residential pickup, because we do other things than residential pickup.
I want to know how you back up my lane. It's not a couple
Yeah.
feet. It's a long lane.
It's
You back
about
up
a
all the
quarter of a mile backing. So come down and you can see what else we do that you're not going to get from GFL. I can guarantee you, because they're not in it. They're in it to make a profit. So just things to think about when you're taking that home and reading it. And like I said, I'm available anytime. You come down to the street department, I'll take you out on a truck. I'll get you on a truck. I'll take you around with me with what I do every day. So come down and you're welcome. And if you have any questions about the solid waste department from now until the vote, call me.
Okay. Mr. Aerosmith, you did say 27 years, right?
27 years.
27. Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone?
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Adam Rogers.
Hi there.
I just want to say I've ridden along with Garbage Men before. It's a blast.
Is it?
Yeah, I had a friend that was a garbage man some time ago.
Very
Rode
good.
along with him. It was a lot of fun. You should do it.
I've rode along with a few, but not the garbage, so I'll have to do that.
So there's two things I want to talk about. Last time I was up here, I mentioned an idea for a community grocery store.
Yes.
In the 2 weeks since, I've actually done some research on that idea. Next step for me is I'm going to build a petition to gauge public interest on the south end, see how many people would be interested in buying a membership to it and shopping there, et cetera, just to gauge public will. I located some grant funding for this exact purpose. If we request DCEO reevaluation of the south end, they can because a previous evaluation was done before Save-A-Lot closed. So if we have it reevaluated now that Save-A-Lot is closed, we can have it redesignated as an official food desert. That would make up to almost $2.5 million of grant money available from the state that's already out there available for the taking for the setup of a grocery store in that area. So it's not something that the city would have to pay for. The money is already there on the state level to pay for it. And it would keep the grocery sales profits in the city. So that's the big difference between a corporate grocery store and a community grocery store, is all of the profits from this grocery store would be coming right back to you. So the money that you may be missing out on the data center, this is a revenue generation potential for you. So low cost, high return on that. And it's a benefit to the community. Think about it, we've got Salvation Army right down the street. Now, for a lot of the people staying at Salvation Army, they may not be from here, but they are residents of Pekin. And they're your responsibility as well. Now, you may say they have access to the bus to ride all the way out to Walmart. That costs $2. And it takes a couple hours to get there sometimes, depending on how the buses are running. That $2 could be easily much better spent just walking up to a community grocery store, putting that $2 into your pocket, and then they get their staples right there and they don't have to give it to CityLink. So it's a very beneficial project for the community, and I would really like to see you guys invest in this. The second thing I want to talk about is a potential use for Ludekin Farms. I would like to see you guys reach out to ICC. I think it would be an ideal location for a wildlife and environmental conservation campus because of its proximity to the wildlife sanctuary at McNaughton Park. Now, if you can build a 600-something acre data center on that site, a few classrooms, a lobby, and a parking lot should be child's play. Just, give it a trail access to McNaughton Park. We've also got the river right down here where they can study environmental conservation for the river as well. It would be a protective, it would protect the wildlife sanctuary. It would be a revenue generation opportunity for you. It would be a profit opportunity for ICC. It would be an education and career opportunity for the community. We could be training a whole new generation of wildlife and conservation officers there. And like the community grocery store, there is a whole slew of state-level grants available for this exact purpose. There's OSLAD, which is the Open Space Land and Acquisition Development. There's Park and Recreational Facility Construction Grants. There's GIGO, Green Infrastructure and Grant Opportunity. And there's DCEO funds directly available for this purpose. So again, it's something that you can fund with state-level funding. It would not be out of the city's pocket, and it would be highly beneficial to the community. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rogers, did you bring any of this information into City Hall? I thought last time you were going to bring some of this into City Hall?
I've been really busy. I'm a single parent.
Yeah, that's okay.
and
I
I've
just
been
wondered
really
if you
busy
had yet.
lately. I had planned to put together a small packet for you guys, but I just didn't have time
Yeah,
to get
please
to
do
it.
sometime.
I will have that ready for you by the next city council meeting, as well as any petition results that I have at that time.
And I'm not rushing you. I just wondered if you had brought it in. I don't see everything that comes to
That's
across there.
another issue that I've been thinking of solutions for in the city is 0 to 3 childcare. I know I've only got 30 seconds left, but I'm a single parent. Part of my problem for the last several years is the reason I've been idle and out of the workforce is I don't have anybody to watch my child. There's nothing for 0 to 3 that's not a daycare center, and those have mile-long wait lists.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you. I took up a few of your seconds anyway.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Ethan Wieland. I am an ag worker and also a member of Workers Strike Back. I'm here once again to speak out against the proposed data center. I know council has a vote scheduled for tonight, and I urge all council members to vote formally and explicitly to end the contract with Western Hospitality Partners, the developer of the proposed data center. Building a data center here will have detrimental effects on soil, water, and air quality. Some data centers in the U.S. are already so large they can literally be seen from outer space. It will hurt working class families through higher energy, water, and utility costs on top of the cost of living crisis already plaguing working class people, which is only being compounded by the war on Iran. All profits from the data center would go to tech billionaires, not workers. In addition to demanding the formal cancellation of the agreement between the city and WHP, we are also calling for the city to take all utilities into public ownership, controlled by a democratically elected committee of workers. We demand that the city of Pekin invest in its people by providing free, low-cost public housing and to subsidize health care for the most vulnerable. And as the previous speaker brought up, daycare center would be an addition to that. The fact that the Pekin City Council members even considered the data center project in light of what working people in Central Illinois really need shows just how rotten the establishment political parties are. Workers have been screwed over by Democrats and Republicans alike for decades. We need a new party, a party of working class and leaders who will fight for us, not just make bland statements. That's why I'm a member of Workers Strike Back, an organization founded by Shama Sawant, the former socialist city council member in Seattle. While serving on city council, Shama used her office to organize workers and succeeded in getting both the nation's highest minimum wage and the Amazon tax passed, which helps fund social housing. Any elected representative who does not vote to stop this data center should be voted out of office. To any working class people, either watching, or working class or young people watching here or online, I urge you to join Workers Strike Back. We have an urgent need to get organized and to fight against this brutal race to the bottom. When we fight, we win. Solidarity.
Mark Stevens, Stevens. Thank you, resident of Pekin. Sorry, it's a little internal joke. Thanks for.
You know what? I have
Thanks
to,
for laughing
I
at
have
my
to spell
terrible
my
joke.
last name all the time, too.
I appreciate that. Mayor, city council, and city staff, it is extremely easy for me to sit in my house and say who I voted for and lay blame on who I elected for issues that may or may not arise in the city of Pekin. It is harder for me to talk about city issues in a politically charged world where we are separated by the letter behind our name on the ticket of which we vote. It is even more painful for me to spend time away from my 13-year-old and my 2-year-old, from my amazing wife, from my friends, and my hobbies to become active in city decisions and policy. Yet here I stand. Why do I stand here? Because of a great book written by Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last. Simon wrote the book, and in these two quotes, he writes, "The true price of leadership is the willingness to place the needs of others above your own. Leadership is not a license to do less. It is a responsibility to do more." I tell my wife, my son, my friends, and my coworkers every single day, be the change you want to see in the world and make a difference everywhere you go. Saying those words mean that I must be the leader they need despite my desires and wants. With that, I come before you tonight with two main points. One, our fiscal 2027 budget. We cannot kick the can down the road and operate at an $8.6 million deficit. It would be unbecoming of me to lecture and irresponsible of me to lecture the city on the intricate lines of this budget. I would add, though, that our mayor, our council, and our staff can be the ones to lead and make the hard decisions. And they can do that with fervor and passions and balance our budget. Yes, it will be painful. I'm reminded of my company's decision in 2009 to have rolling layoffs for our internal staff while they didn't lay off the sales team. Our owner came to us at a regional meeting, looked at us with tears in his eyes and said, "I trust you, sales team, to grow our company out of this disaster." The next year, our company grew by $17 million, well over 30% of our total revenue. I asked the mayor, the council, and the staff to do the hard work and lead us out of this disaster. Lead by hunting for the right and ethical economic development, not accepting whatever shows at the door. I asked the mayor, the council, and the staff to look at every line item and forego non-contractual raises in the budget and focus on right-sizing our budget for the needs of Pekin. Those needs: safety for our residents, streets, housing blight, small business improvement incentives, and residential growth. Be the city that people move to, not because of industry or economy, but because of our hard-working culture and our caring community. Second, you hear about it all the time, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the data center. But regarding City Attorney Vasselli's presentation, I would ask that the council consider these next statements in their heart, and if I need to, we can talk later, but I would ask that they would do some code ordinance work and pass these codes. First, all light industrial zone properties shall not exceed 45 decibels of noise pollution within 10 yards of any property line. Second, light industrial zone properties shall not exceed or emit more than 15 yards in any direction from the property line artificial light at night pollution. Light industrial zone properties are prohibited from emitting loud and disturbing noises or vibrations within 10 yards of any property line that are offensive to the ordinary citizens and inhabitants of the city. Light industrial zone properties are prohibited from using rooftop generators and/or evaporative cooling towers. Light industrial zone properties are required to report water usage monthly and provide water impact studies for use and discharge quarterly. Light industrial zone properties must be 2,000 feet away from any residential structure. I will close my speech tonight with an all-time favorite movie of mine, Remember the Titans. Love that movie. The team is arguing and fighting. The team is splitting at the seams. Julius, the linebacker, looks at the de facto leader, Gary Bertier, and says, "Attitude reflects leadership." Mayor, council, and city leaders, the attitude of this city reflects the leadership in this city. While the local community organizations are doing everything they can, I urge you, we need your servant leadership now more than ever. As I close, I will continue to offer whatever I have, whatever I can do to grow, move, and help the city in whatever fashion we can to be the best that we can possibly be.
How do you follow that? So, the last meeting, my name's Dan Taylor, and I represent Country Club Estates Homeowners Association. We have 284 lots and homeowners out there. We don't live in the city of Pekin, but anything you're going to do with this data center is going to affect every one of us. Not only with the water. Example, I've got a good friend, his son put in data centers all around the country. The water line going into that data center is going to be 3 foot wide. So please tell me where you're going to get it. All right? It just doesn't make sense. I'm one of these guys that's seeing is believing. So I heard about this a month and a half ago, and I'm thinking, how can I stand behind something if I'm not there personally and see what's going on? So I took a trip to Aurora at the Cyrus plant, and I tried to talk to 5 different homes. Me and Fred Vogt went up there, knocked on doors, 3 of them wouldn't answer. Talked to a Ring doorbell, and his wife can't stand it. They are no more than 3/4 of a mile away from this data center, and the sound comes straight through. Then we hit the 4th house, and the man gave us a speech for 10 minutes. Every bit of this sound is like an obnoxious waterfall constantly that does not stop. So I heard this firsthand. I put it on Facebook firsthand. You could hear it. Then I walked around the back of the house. And at that point, the closer I got, to that data center, which is huge and at least 2.5, 3 stories tall, basically it just got louder and louder and louder, and you could hear it on the video. Then the man took 10 minutes and told us just exactly why he wished he hadn't moved there. The data center was already there when they moved. They moved from Naperville. Very expensive town. Okay? He said, I'm going to the country, and I'm going to have cheaper electric, I'm going to have cheaper water. Guess what? Double. Double. And now they put in 2 more data centers around him. This was his dream home, and they absolutely ruined it. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of people right here who have dream homes, and we don't need them ruined. We want to see the stars. We don't want to see the light of a data center. That's why we moved in the country. People love the city, and you know what? I feel so sorry for these people right now. It's unbelievable. I can't vote. And I hate to tell you, but they can't vote either. You guys are. And I have one other thing. Is Josh Ray here? Josh, how did you come up with $200 million a year in tax?
$20 million a year in tax, sir.
Pardon me?
The $20 million was the figure, not 200.
Okay, 20 million. That's cool. So basically, that's, yeah, actually that was my question. I really made a mistake. So do you know what the Cat Morton plant pays in a year
No.
in tax? Do you know they've got over 2,000 overhead building? They basically bring in $800,000 a year to Morton, Illinois. How did you come up with 20 million? That's what I'd like to know.
It's the value. We actually went to DeKalb. DeKalb brings in $46 million in property tax.
DeKalb's up by Chicago, too. You're talking about a big
It's the
difference
value.
in taxes.
That's right, it's the value.
It's
And
the
it
value.
might be valued higher up there than here,
So
but it
don't
is
you-
the value. That's
but
why he
don't you-
went, that's why he went, I'm sorry, I'm taking your time.
No.
I'm
Go
taking your
ahead.
time. I'll give you another
I
few
guess
seconds.
I'm standing here wondering why we wouldn't be comparing people around us. Why
That was-
wouldn't we
that's
be
the closest
comparing
one.
Morton, Illinois? Why wouldn't be comparing Peoria, Dunlap? I mean, those are the taxes that everybody's
I'm going to say you
paying.
have 22 seconds, but you're going to have a few more because I cut you off.
No,
Go ahead.
that's fine.
Okay.
I'm just saying, the last meeting I got up here and applauded, and I said, my God, thank you so much. And then I heard Mr. Hills. And that's exactly why we're here.
Please,
And I'm going to beg
What do I
you
say?
people,
What do I
I'm
say?
going to beg you with all my heart.
All right.
Don't pass this thing.
all right, what do I say? Anyone else wishing to have their voice be heard? Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Yeah, my name is Justin Smeltzer. I'm a socialist. I work in the area as an electrician. I'm a proud rank and file member of the United Auto Workers, Local 974. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back. I want to say congratulations to the working people of Pekin for getting organized and fighting back against the Pekin Data Center. And this victory for the movement against this data center in Pekin is proof that when working class people get organized to fight for our demands, we can win. Workers Strike Back is proud to have been a part of this movement. Building fighting movements is the only way working class people can win anything under capitalism, because this vicious system is ruled by the bosses and runs in their interests, while every day a majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and struggle with the rising cost of living crisis. The billionaires keep getting richer off our labor in the meantime. The expansion of private profit data centers are one of the many ways that working people lose out under this system. These massive compounds consume hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a day, obscene amounts of energy that in most cases come from fossil fuels, dramatically increasing the detrimental climate impact and with every new data center that is built. The data stored in these data centers is used to further enrich the wealthiest people on the planet at the expense of ordinary people. The tech that these data centers include is made to advance ruling class interests, and a diabolical recent use of such technology is the AI company Palantir using its AI technology to select targets for the U.S. military strikes on Iran. On the first day of the strikes, this AI system targeted a girls' school, killing 140 people, most of them young schoolgirls. Despite the mountain of reasons we should oppose this data center expansion, the state of Illinois has provided tax incentives for data centers when Democratic Governor Pritzker signed bipartisan legislation in 2019. Donald Trump is also in favor of giving massive tax breaks to the rich and helping big tech expand their profit machine. Both parties of U.S. capitalism, the Republicans and the Democrats, are helping these ultra-wealthy people ultra-wealthy big tech billionaires massively expand their monstrous data centers across the United States. These examples and our example right here in Pekin, Illinois, shows clearly whose side the politicians in the Republican and Democratic Party are on. They are on the side of the billionaires, not working people. The only way we've won in this case was getting organized and building a movement that is independent of the Democratic and Republican parties. Workers Strike Back is a national organization that is crystal clear that neither of these parties are on our side, and we need a new party that will fight for working class demands. We're currently building a national campaign around Shama Sawant's Independent Socialist Campaign for U.S. Congress, where we're fighting for free healthcare for all funded by taxing the rich, national rent control, ending all U.S. military aid to Israel, shutting down ICE in the detention centers, and also taking major corporations like these big tech companies and the energy corporations into democratic public ownership of workers to be run in the interests of ordinary working people, not the warmongering agenda of U.S. imperialism or the fossil fuel industry that is devastating our environment and leading us closer to the brink of climate catastrophe. Working people would not choose to burn more fossil fuels if we had the choice, and we would not choose to slaughter children while they go to school if we were in control of this technology. We need movements like the one used to shut down this data center project here in Pekin for more offensive demands locally to better renter protections, better homeowner protections, but we also need to build mass movements nationally to win demands like free healthcare for all by taxing the rich, ending all imperialist wars like the war on Iran and the genocidal war on Gaza. And as I said, we are regularly facing attacks from the bosses and their politicians, and we have two choices under this system. We either sit back and watch our living standards worsen, or we get organized and we fight back. And Workers Strike Back and Shama Sawant's Revolutionary Socialist Campaign are building a national movement for that fight back against the billionaires, both parties of capitalism, to fight for our demands. And we need you to join us, get active, because this example right here in Pekin shows that when we fight, we can win. Solidarity.
Hi, my name's Lynn Bindfor. Mr. Dorsey? Okay. I need to apologize to you for speaking out last time. But to my understanding, when I sat in your office and we all had our conversation, was that you changing our waste to every other week was temporary until May, when the council would have a chance to bid on it. If I was wrong, I'm wrong. But I do apologize for speaking out when you was talking out of turn. My second thing is this letter that my cousin got. I don't understand it. Important sewer billing update. Didn't receive one. She just got it in her water bill. And that's my question, is for you guys to explain it. I don't. That's.
It's the winter averaging that got adjusted last, fall or, yeah.
But that's why I'm here also, because I don't understand this. I posted it on Facebook. Well, it says sewer.
That's from, so if you want to come in, Melanie could probably break it down for you the best. Melanie, if you
Yeah.
want to come back in and have another visit, I can go through everything with you. I appreciate you coming in. I think there's a lot going on with the garbage when we talked, and I think you're confusing the recycle issue with the RFP and all that, which we're gonna have a further discussion on that tonight. But the winter averaging, that got changed last fall, after they reviewed it, and I believe Melanie would probably be the best person to explain it in more detail. She has all the numbers and can show you how that works.
I understand that for myself, but when I posted it on Facebook and I posted it on the positive side of Pekin, go look at the site. There's 20 or 30 people that commented, they didn't understand what it is either. So you have a lot of citizens in Pekin that, I didn't receive this, but they did, and we don't understand it.
I think in a nutshell, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh or Simon, the winter averaging typically impacts the people, we call them snowbirds, who are gone all winter, and it affects their averaging. So they're actually gonna be paying a little bit more on that, and it shifts it, and I don't have it in front of me. I believe we shifted it so it lasts longer into the year because we've been having warmer falls.
Yes.
In there, and people are watering a little bit longer, so it's going in there. So they tried to shift it to make it more user-friendly, and there'd be impact where the people who are the snowbirds are actually paying a little bit more of their fair share, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it says it's gonna up it if you go over to another 750 gallons, even if you only go 1 gallon over, you go up to 750 plus.
Yeah, and like I said, we have all that. I had it all down when we had the explanation, and we had it explained at the council meeting. I just don't have it in front of me, but Melanie certainly has it, and she deals with it every day and can explain it in detail.
Okay. I have another question. I've been reading on Facebook, like everybody does. Ludicans Lake, your taxpayers paid for it, correct? We're going to pay for it. The taxpayers are going to pay for Ludicans Lake, right?
Ludicans Lake, well, that's part of Ludican land.
Right?
Yeah.
But the taxpayers aren't allowed to walk on that property? And you guys are going to allow the ex-farmer to hunt it? And you're going to vote, I believe, tonight about letting him shoot off a gun in city limits, which is illegal. But I don't understand why it would only be okay for him and his family when they're not the ones paying the taxes for the property, now we are. And I just would like to walk it and throw a fishing pole in it. I mean, wouldn't you? I love to fish. And the lagoon's not the best place. So, that's it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Matthew Johnson. So I think there's always a higher calling, a higher being in this world that puts us in the right place at the right time. And I missed last week's meeting because I was homesick and hopped up on Alka-Seltzer. And it was probably a good place for me because I'm certainly a lot calmer tonight as I've had 2 weeks to kind of collect my thoughts based on, Madam Mayor, your public statement. And if you and I can just sit here and have a heart-to-heart real quick.
That's my favorite.
I want to give you some advice, and you can take it for what it's worth. I know you felt compelled because of the outpouring of pushback you were getting in regards to the data center. And I know you felt compelled to make a statement, but the choice of wording in that statement, if you wrote that statement, was not right. You know, when you said the city of Pekin, that was wrong. Your statement should have simply been that due to the outpouring of you know, the feedback from the community, I'm an elected official, I'm voted in by the citizens to represent the citizens. They don't want this, so I'm going to vote no on this moving forward. That's what I would have done. That's what I feel you should have done. But you didn't even have to do that. All you had to do was vote no, Mary. All you had to
We
do was
didn't take a vote yet.
Mary. All right, let's try it this way. Moving forward, the city would have brought the zoning back up. All you had to do was vote no on that. There was all this talk about TIF districts, TIF incentives. That had to come before the council. All you had to do was vote no. I'm trying to help you out here. I really am. I know you're in a hard spot, and the reason I know that is because we had to have the lawyer explain it to us. You put a target on our city's back with that statement, and I was screaming at my computer at the time. My daughter even asked me, "What's wrong?" It's like, we're in trouble. I'm scared. I really am. Because I just think you handled this wrong. That's my personal opinion. I know it is, and it's probably only worth a nickel worth of advice. Just take it for what it's worth. And after your statement, you talked about your vision. At some point, Mary, you got to tell us what this vision is. You know, every time you say that, I'm reminded of John Kerry, of all people, because he had a plan. That was his campaign strategy. I have a plan to fix the economy. I have a plan of foreign policy, all this stuff, but he never said what the plan was. Just tell us what it is. You talk about moving the city forward. Where are we going? You know, I know it's easy for me to say this or ask you this because nobody knows my plan. Well, they're going to know in the next minute. Look, it's been the same way for the last 6 years. 10% population growth by 2030. That's it. That's my plan. Always has been. The greatest asset in any community is its residents. If you grow the population, good things will happen. And you got to go after the right demographic. Our legacy is in our children. It's in the young professionals who are trying to start out in the world. But they're not building homes, Mary. They want to live in apartment complexes with walking paths and things like that. That's my plan, and I'm going to stick to it.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I know. That's all I have tonight, Mary.
I think this is on. I wrote my name on this paper here so you could spell it right. Madison Sinus. That's with a P. On March 9th, we heard it said that our mayor has a vision for the future of Pekin. A vision where Pekin leads in Tazewell County. This vision is of a future where our economy is strengthened, our community's common interests are pursued, and shared values are reflected in what Pekin can offer for Tazewell County and the state of Illinois. I wonder how this can be, how a vision of this scale and importance can exist without a comprehensive plan to guide it. We know that our current comprehensive plan, it's on its last years and does not reflect the growth of our city as we have added over 10% of our city's footprint in the last few years. What does it tell Pekin citizens and our neighboring communities that you, the city staff and elected officials, have a vision and no clear guidepost for citizens to look to identify with? I was 6 years old when the last comprehensive plan was put in place. And as I look for the future growth of our community, I want to see a plan that reflects the growing size of Pekin and developments that can continue to reflect my interests as a young professional in the city. I understand the high costs associated with funding an updated comprehensive plan, which can cost upwards of $100,000 to $200,000. I am pro-smart, informed, community-led, profitable development, which is what I believe our city wants to see as well. I have it on good authority that Tazewell County will be seeking to update its regional plan, and that is not out, it is not out of the realm of possibility that the city of Pekin may explore a joint venture, partnership, or shared or split funding opportunity related to a comprehensive plan for Tazewell County and for the city of Pekin. You can also apply for funding for a comprehensive plan from the county, such as what the city of Mackinac has recently done. I implore that the city prioritize, as difficult as it is, a means to begin, if not complete, a true community-informed comprehensive plan that is not top-down, but is broad-reaching and led by citizens' needs and wants, not what elected and unelected officials believe our needs and wants to be. A comprehensive plan is one of the greatest forms of due diligence. As the city of Pekin entertains, explores, invests in, and acts on new developments, know that we, the people, your neighbors, are watching. We will not settle for developments that do not serve our broader community. It took a hyperscale AI data center threatening to compromise our homes, health, resources, and wallets to get us to pay attention. Please listen to your constituents, and even more so, put your actions and investments where your claims lie, and go out and ask people and businesses to build a collective vision for Pekin's unified growth. Thank you.
My name is Gary Lambert. I'm a recent addition to Pekin. I've attended city council meetings faithfully at Woodford County Board, City of Bloomington for the last 15, 20 years. I was here at the last meeting, and I heard the mayor's opening remarks. And I may have misinterpreted. I may have, I'll get on to something else in a second. If so, I apologize. But as she was reading that statement, my thought was, what gives one individual the right to say what the city of Pekin is doing or is planning to do? My understanding is that's the entire council's job, and the mayor is just one position on that job. Now, I may have it entirely wrong. If so, I hope it's in the meeting coming up that'll be discussed. I felt a little better later on when Mr. Hilst made his comments. But then again, I thought about it, and I said, no, I don't. If I understood him correctly, and I may not have, he said he didn't have any information before this topic was brought before the council. How is that possible? A major decision being made, and the council members who are making decisions for this city being asked to do so uninformed. Once again, I may have it wrong, but I don't see how anybody can make a statement of fact when it's the entire council's responsibility to take a vote. Previous lady brought up a little blue piece of paper. I got one of those. And I'm new, so I'm still learning. I read that thing multiple times. I didn't understand it. I thought it was going to increase my sewer runoff or whatever it is, and it's based off of your water usage. And I went back and looked at my previous bills, and I saw the numbers there, and my numbers were like half of what that was, and I thought I was going to get a tremendous increase in it. I came down to this building, and a young lady there at the desk, extremely nice, explained it very professionally. No, it's not an increase, it's for people filling pools and this and that. My suggestion would be republish that letter, send it out in the next one. When I didn't know what the number was. First of all, is it gallons? Previous residents was in Bloomington. They measure theirs in cubic feet. So, I didn't know what was happening there. But I'd like to give praise to the lady at the desk, and she straightened me out on what was intended. But a lot of people, I can read. You need to republish that, but thank you.
You forgot your church invite. Hey, good evening. Name's John McNish. At the last meeting, two things happened. Number one, Mr. Hills requested a resolution on the agenda to rescind the lease agreement with WHP. Number two, the city attorney, the mayor, and the city manager became frantic and convinced council member a memorandum would be submitted explaining what could be done. To my knowledge, that memorandum still has not happened, just this little PowerPoint. That brings along item 8.1. So we've wasted 2 more weeks already. I came here today not in celebration, but with a profound sense of disappointment and a call for accountability. For months, we, the people of this town and the surrounding communities, have voiced our concerns over reservations and our outright opposition to the proposed data center. Residents have signed petitions, made their voices heard loud and clear. The message was simple. This community did not want this project. Yet despite the collective outcry, the mayor persisted. She pushed forward, seemingly deaf to the will of the very people she was elected to serve. Only when it became undeniably clear that Burris, Hoheimer, Abel, Dossie, Ray, and the city attorney lacked the votes to pass this ill-conceived plan did she finally concede. Announcing that the project would no longer move forward, she provided no evidence of this concession, and it appears to be politically motivated strategy aimed at safeguarding her and her colleagues' careers. This is not leadership. It's a blatant disregard for the democratic process and a betrayal of the public trust. The mayor's actions have not only wasted valuable time and resources, but have also created a deep rift between communities. We deserve better than a leader who prioritizes personal ambitions over the well-being and the wishes of her constituents. We demand transparency, accountability, and a renewed commitment to serving the people of Pekin. We are calling for the immediate termination of the city manager, the immediate release of the city attorney, and the complete censure of Mayor Burris, followed by her resignation. It's time for council to make clear and difficult decisions by fast-tracking these actions prior to the next council meeting. Thank you.
Turn that on. Terry Johnson. And I want you to, I'm going to say it again. I apologize to you that I told you I wasn't going to say anything, but I am.
I knew you were. I knew you were.
Most of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for putting up with all of us and listening to us. I'm hoping you're listening to us. I'm going to tell you right now, and you guys here, you just sit here hour after hour and absorb all of this information, and my heart goes out to you. I never knew what a data center was. I didn't have any knowledge of it, didn't have any concern with it until it started to affect me personally and my property. Because I live next door to this thing, supposedly. So I start researching data centers, and I, like Mr. Taylor, I got a little nervous and started looking into it, and it became more an obsession for me. And I got troubled by it, and the more I got it, the more upset I got, and nobody seemed to listen, and you keep hearing all these complaints. Now, in my research of data centers, I don't have any information printed out for you. You're just going to have to take my word for it. There's a guy named Elon Musk. You know how he made his money? Do you know how he started out? He orchestrated and made PayPal. Everybody thought he was nuts because they said, you can't get anybody paid digitally. Well, excuse me. Now Mr. Musk is looking at something else. This should tickle your ears. He's looking at data centers. But he's not looking for earthly data centers. He has conceived or is planning on developing a process to have data centers in space. He says there's a couple things that'll make it happen. One, no restriction on sunlight. No clouds, no trees, no nothing. I'll have unlimited sunshine and energy power for my solar-powered data plants. I plan on putting enough of them to make a belt around the world, Earth. He also said we don't have to worry about water because that's one of the main concerns we've got now is water. He says because you know what happens up there? It's cold. It'll already be cooled. Now this guy may be nuts, but he's also very rich. He's already constructed 150 of these solar data centers that he plans on shooting up into space to see if it'll work. I'm sorry, the one gentleman was here and said that technology is moving so fast that we don't have any idea. Do you realize that in 3 to 4 years, 3 to 4, maybe 5, 6 years, earthly data centers may not even be existing? And what you have constructed and what you have agreed to turns into dust and garbage and non-usable, and we don't know how to get rid of it. And living out there where I live, and you've heard my emotional plea for country folk, I watch all that, and it scares me. It scares me to death that you might consider doing this. But I wanted you to hear what Mr. Musk is thinking about. He's thinking about the future of the planet. And he says, we won't be disturbing Earth anymore. We'll move it into space where we can make it work. And I think the guy's got a little change in his pocket that he might be able to do just that. Again, it's Terry, not Jerry. How's that? Terry. Thank you very much. You've allowed me to speak, and like I said, mine's a little bit more emotional. I would like you to look into these facts and figures that we're looking at, because you've got a lot of people here that are doing research, and I hope you take it to heart that they're trying to do it in the best interest, not only for them, but for you to help you along. And that's all I've got to say. Mary?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sherry Folk.
First off, I would like to say to the mayor and the council members, for those of you that voted or said that you would vote no against this data center, we thank you. Rick, you most of all, you shed light on things that we had no clue about, that we kept questioning and got no answers. As a previous treasurer, Mary,
Yes.
you come into this, and I read an article where when you first got elected, you said that you didn't realize there was a $5 million deficit.
No, I said I didn't realize that just how bad the finances were.
Okay.
That we were heading towards 4 years of no audit and coming as previous treasurer, and I'll give you more seconds, that I was appalled that the city could operate like that.
Okay.
We have come so far, and that's a huge vision for
So
me.
that being said, what would make the council think that was it $14 billion purchase, or $1 million purchase of this property that is going to total a $28 million deficit for us?
If it takes it that long to pay off.
Okay, what is your plan to pay it off early?
We're selling it.
Okay, and to data centers?
You know what, I don't want to say too much to get in litigation. I said that last time, but you guys don't seem to remember that I did say that.
You don't seem
So
to remember that we don't want this.
I hear you. I told you I heard you. I'm not going to argue. Go ahead.
No,
Your
and that's
time.
fine.
Your
I'm
time.
not going to argue with you either. I just want you to realize that that was a bad financial decision.
No.
How was it not?
Go ahead.
Clearly, I'm not going to get an answer on that. But thank you so much, Rick, Mr. Nutter, Mr. Fletcher. Appreciate that.
My name's Elaine Ritchie. After hearing everything, I do want to say one thing.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry.
Mary, me and you have been friends forever.
Long time.
A long time. I'm here to ask you to please vote this down for these people for one reason. You made a campaign promise to this town that you would beautify it, you would take care of it. These people don't want this. Some of these people can't even vote on this. Some of these people, it affects them, and they have no say in the matter. I live in Pekin. I'm going to be 77 years old. It's not going to bother me because by the time the place is built, I'll probably be dead and gone. But it's going to affect my grandchildren if they decide to move out. I'm asking you, as a friend, as a mayor, to please don't let these people down. Please fulfill your promise that you promised them. That's all I'm asking.
I'll
Each
answer
and
you
every
when you're
one of
done.
you. Huh?
I'll answer you when you're done.
Okay.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. I want all of you to read or listen to the letter that I wrote again, whether you pull it up on there or I don't know if anybody has a copy here tonight. I don't have it. But I want you to read it again, and I want you to listen to it again, because at last I said, I don't want to say too much, I don't want to get in litigation, and I have no further comment. That wasn't to say that I'm trying to bamboozle everybody and we're going to vote this in. I stated what I stated, and that's all I can tell you. I'm not betraying my promise. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Is there an NDA on that? Can I just say it from here? I just have one question. Is there an NDA agreement on this?
No. No.
Then why can't you say anything? I'm just asking.
Okay. Anyone else wants to come to the podium?
I just had one more quick question because I have a minute left on my time. I still have a minute left on my time. Just a really quick question with what was told to me before about the election nearing. I would like to get some information on that because I've been in contact with my own election lawyers and things like that. I haven't seen that because we're not polling right now. So, and I keep on trying to contact both you, Mary,
There is-
and several other people.
there is
and
electioneering,
no-
yeah.
And I want some information on this, so I make sure, because I'm very much an
All
open
right,
person.
done. All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
I can't get hold of anyone, because no
Thank
one's
you.
going to answer.
Thank
me.
you.
So, that's it.
Hello there.
Hello.
My name is Gail Miller.
Hi, Gail.
And we have been a member of this community for almost 20 years. We love Pekin.
Thank you, so do I.
We love all the amenities that come with Pekin. We love all the opportunities that come with Pekin. Our daughter was 6 when we moved here, and we have used McNaughton Park. We have used the high school. Everything has been very good for us since we moved here. Everything's been very good for us since we moved here. But 2 months ago, I was following Facebook and saw comments that had to do with Mark Stevens and Dave Milam, who I've been friends with for a long time, which made us very active. Yes, you're still my friend, Mark. Which has it's gotten us very active in this data center. We have been against it from day one, and we appreciate what Rick did at the last meeting. We have heard, we only heard about it a couple months ago, which to me, that was very disturbing in itself, because I have talked to many people in Pekin. I have talked to many people outside of Pekin, in Groveland, and the areas that affects that, and they were not aware of any of this. Why not? If we pay taxes for this city, why weren't we notified when this was first talked about a year ago? Why weren't there flyers sent out? Why was there nothing in the media? Why was there nothing mentioned? Why is this such a shock to a lot of people around here? There are several ways to put information out. We can't, not all of us, the whole city cannot attend the meetings. The whole city does not have time to pull it up online. So we need to be informed, and this is what I'm finding is not a good thing with this city council and the staff. The city's not being notified. The data center would not only take away the beauty, the outdoor beauty, but it would not be good for the community. It would be a bad nuisance to those living around it. The property values would drop. We've been here 20 years and we love it here, but I don't want to move. But if my value of my property is going to drop, you can bet I'm going to move, along with a lot of other people. Plus, the water and I hear water and electric and gas, you won't be affected. Yes, you will. If you've done the research, it will skyrocket. I have questions for the council and the staff, especially the council, who had voted on this. Would you want this in your backyard? If you say no, then what do you think about the people back here that it's going to be in their backyard? We will live within the 3-mile radius of it, and I don't want it for me. And even if we didn't, it wasn't going to affect me. It's going to affect my friends. And if you don't want it in your backyard, they're not going to want it in their backyard. There have been several ideas of what you can do with that property, and I have seen so many online, so many ideas, from low-income housing to several other. You have to go online to read about it. One thing my husband brought up was having a retirement community out there. How cool would that be in 10 years, when I'm going to be in my 70s, to retire out there and wake up with wildlife? How cool would that be? How cool would that be to maybe within all those acres have a hotel put up for families that want to come and see their family in the retirement community? You could have amenities, you could have a pool, you could have all kinds of neat things out there. I understand that money is a big issue when it comes to running a city, and I certainly am not qualified to be the mayor or a council member. But money needs to be set to improve the city, not to run citizens out, but to bring them in. We live in a good neighborhood. We have good things not far from us. So please consider not only my opinion, but everybody else behind me.
35 seconds.
I can see that, but thank you. But please consider our opinions when you're thinking about what to do with this land.
Okay, Ms. Miller, oh, you got 20 more seconds.
I'm done.
You're done. All right. See, I know I had mentioned that we are talking to developers on putting senior housing out there for people over 55. So we have talked to those. People only hear just one certain thing, and right now what they're hearing is data center, and they don't want it. So thank you.
The only thing the thing is, again, communication. And you said you've been hearing things like that. I had not heard that. So the big thing that I'm complaining about is communication. Communicate with your citizens. We're the ones paying the property taxes. We're the ones that should have a voice.
There's been a lot out there. There really has.
Madam
If
Mayor,
no one-
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a request. Whoever's live streaming, if somebody's live streaming out there, it's feeding back here, and I'm having a hard time hearing it. So I don't know whose phone is on or whatever, but somebody, if you would please, just out of courtesy. Thank you.
Is the mic on?
It is.
Perfect. I just want to say again, my name is Dave Milam, M-I-L-A-M. And the reason I say that, you could look at my tax records. I pay quite a bit of taxes in the city. And I mean, I know my customers that spend money with me. I just thought maybe after the 5th time we might get the name right. Thank you. I appreciate it. First of all, again, I know what a tough job you guys do up here. You couldn't pay me enough to do it. I already know that. But I also know it's a business. And I suggest you run it like a business. I don't go out and open up multiple businesses across the town when I can't function my first one. And we're not functioning properly. You have a lot of smart people sitting right here, smarter than I have to pay Lou Miller to do my attorney's fees and write up contracts. But I pay him thousands and thousands of dollars to do due diligence before I ever even think about buying a piece of property. And I say, can I make money with that property? Is that property going to benefit me? Is it going to benefit anything that I'm doing? And then I usually ask people that I don't even know, friends of mine, and say, what do you think about this idea? Because you know what? A lot of times I think with my heart and I fall in love with a project that really didn't make sense. And sometimes I have to get the rude awakening from friends of mine that say, you know, Dave, you've done a lot of businesses, but that one really doesn't make sense. And I urge you to use the staff that you're paying to make decisions for you, to do due diligence, to research stuff. Then I ask you to come to the public. There's a lot of smart people. I'm telling you, this is one of my smartest friends right here that I know. Ask people like him. People have great ideas. Look on Facebook, the people that have stepped up against this data center. See, I don't even know, is it data center or is it data center? I really don't know. Anyway, thank you.
Pick
All
your
right.
poison, tomato, tomato.
Okay, exactly. But my point is, there's a lot of smart people in this world. And I'm sure every one of you are smart. I'm not saying you're not. But use all your resources before you reach out and make decisions that can affect so many people. That's my number one suggestion to you is ask people in the public. It's amazing. I heard some great ideas again tonight. I constantly hear great ideas, and I'm truthfully interested in some of those ventures. But I know you got to make money and revenue with that property. But I see us buying the Gamble farm. We still have to buy 2 more 80-acre pieces of property. It's going to be at least $15,000 to $20,000 to do the ring road. We don't even own that to get it to 98. Then we've got to deal with the other side of the road past the Gamble farm that we owe money on that. I just see us going deeper and deeper and deeper in debt before we even opened our first hot dog stand. I'm sorry, but we've got to start thinking logically. Taxpayers are fed up of paying taxes every day. They want to enjoy this stuff. And I think we just got to get some heads together. I am willing to start a committee. I told you that a month ago. I talked to somebody in this office here. 6 months ago, said, I will help give you some ideas for that property. I am still offering it. I'm not the smartest guy in the business, but I guarantee you I'll find people that are. Let's join together and make that something that's ecologically positive and a benefit for the city of Pekin. I am offering my help once again. This guy has offered his help. Let's get together on this and let's do something other than a data center, please. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Yes.
My name is Steve Dennis, D-E-N-N-I-S, and I'm not really schooled like these people are on this. I know it takes a lot of work, but one thing I've noticed that tomorrow night there was going to be a town hall on this subject at the high school, and someone canceled it. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is by sitting here and listening to this for the last hour, there's no reason to have canceled that. I think it's needed because this is a small group that can fit in this building and bring their concerns here, but I'm sure there's a lot more that would go to a town hall to address this issue.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Todd Carroll, Pekin Firefighters, Local 524. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the current stream of consciousness, but wanted to talk about a couple of agenda items coming up before you tonight. First, we urge and recommend your support in adopting the updated International Fire Code. Our members see both through emergency calls as well as prevention the benefits of maintaining proper codes and the ability to enforce them. So again, we appreciate your support on this. We also wanted to express support for the proposed collective bargaining agreement and to recognize the process that brought us to this point. This agreement reflects fairness and balance. It is a result of good faith negotiations on both sides, where concerns were heard, priorities were weighed, and ultimately compromises were made. No agreement is ever perfect for either party, but that's often the clearest sign that the process worked as intended. What comes before you tonight is a thoughtful, responsible contract that supports our firefighters while also respecting the needs and resources of the community. This agreement helps ensure stability within the department, promotes retention of experienced personnel, and maintains the high level of service that our residents expect and deserve. Just as importantly, and I can't stress this part enough, it demonstrates that collaborative, professional dialogue can lead to outcomes that benefit everyone involved. So I respectfully ask that you support this agreement and recognize the effort and integrity that went into reaching it. Thank you to the city manager, Chiefs Reese, Rendelman. Special thank you to Josh Ray and Paige, who's not here, for getting us to this as well. Thank you for your time and consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And Mr. Carroll, I do want to say, thank you. How many years have you been with the fire department?
Going on 15 now.
Very good. Thank you so much. And I've said from day one, our police officers and firefighters are second to none. We have the best in Pekin, Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe public input is now going to be closed. We will go down to
Hi, I don't live in Pekin. My name is Dale Meischner II. I live in the county. But it will affect me because I have a 60-foot well. I'm within a 3-mile radius. If you're using a million gallons a day, you're going to dry our wells out. And, the other thing is, I read the letters thing on Facebook that said, Mr. Attorney over here, that you guys couldn't vote on this tonight. But you know what? Who does he work for? You, us, or the citizens? I've also read, according to WCBU, that he is friends with the attorney from the WHP company.
What's WCBU?
Also, it's like this.
A contract can be rescinded. I read up on it today. I Googled it. It's already apparently, this contract has been breached already because they haven't made their deadlines. Also, the contract is questionable from what I've seen because it's backdated 2 months. I know that can be legal. Also know that can be illegal if it's considered fraud possibly. I don't know. But we need to vote the thing down tonight. That's all I have.
Okay, I apologize that I did not see that gentleman walking forward. Anyone else from the public? Because I'm now going to be closing it. Okay. Public input is now closed. We come down to item 6, which is the consent agenda. Chair would entertain a motion, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that the consent agenda consisting of 6.1 financial reports through February 28, 2026, 6.2 accounts payable paid proof list through March 23, 2026, 6.3 receive and file fiscal year 2025-26 budget transfers through March 19, 2026, 6.4 receive and file quotes for 1,096-gallon recycling totes, 6.5 proclamation Women's History Month, 6.6 proclamation for Pekin First United Methodist Bicentennial Day be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Mr. Nutter. Any questions, comments, or concerns on the consent agenda? Seeing none, council, take your vote, please. Well, I'll roll it up, see if it'll do it. Yeah, there we go.
Here, no.
There you go. Did you guys vote? I think we've got 3. Did you vote? We all did? Okay. Motion passes 6-0. We have now come down to unfinished business. Chair would entertain a motion for 7.1, please.
Madam Mayor, make a motion that ordinance number 4375-25/26, authorizing the termination of a TIF district redevelopment agreement with Olivia's Playhouse and Lisa Fuller be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hilston, second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. This matter's been tabled a couple times by council, and we were waiting for some information back from Ms. Fuller, and I think Josh has an update on that. He did hear from her earlier today.
Hi. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so staff would ask that, so the current motion is to simply terminate the TIF agreement. The owner of Olivia's Playhouse, Ms. Fuller, has agreed to instead do an amended TIF agreement, as was kind of discussed. So basically, staff is no longer, seeking your input on this. You can table it indefinitely, wherever you'd like to do. We would be bringing a different action at a future council meeting for you to consider an amendment to our current agreement. So if you table it indefinitely tonight, it would never come back up, and the agreement that's in effect now would stay in place until you potentially amend it with terms that she has tentatively agreed to.
But if we vote to approve this, then this will be canceled, and she can come in for a different TIF. No.
No. If you were to approve this tonight, then she would not have she would be totally released from the TIF agreement, and she would just move forward. But she has agreed to instead amend the TIF agreement and keep it in place under slightly different terms. So that's what staff would be bringing towards you. I've asked Jacob McCline to draft
So
an
does
amendment.
everyone understand that? If you do not approve of this, she can come in. Correct?
Yeah, staff would ask you to table it indefinitely. That's what we would be recommending.
In lieu of the action that just took place today, which we found out about and everything, I'd like to move that we table this indefinitely until an agreement is reached with whatever the conditions are with this.
Second.
Unfortunately, it took a little more time than we anticipated,
Yeah.
so
So I have a motion to table and a second by Mr. Nutter and a second by Ms. Hoheimer. Any questions? Council, take.
So we won't know we won't know anything about the other agreement until it comes back to us then?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, she's
My
agreed to.
question on that is it gonna be moved out of a TIF district?
The business that is operating would be, the expenses that have already taken place would not be. So I think Mr. Vaselli, he showed me a draft of a memo that explains how that works, that we can circulate to council tonight, and the agreement will reflect what's lawful.
Yes, so the question was raised, and there will be a memorandum that will go out immediately after the board meeting, but it is whether we could enter into an agreement with the owners of Olivia's or Olivia as they're leaving the TIF district, and the answer is yes, we can. Is the new business going to be out? I think your question was, is the new business going to be out of the TIF district? Is that correct?
I guess my question is, since it was a TIF redevelopment agreement and she was provided TIF funding twice, quite frankly, and now she's going to be allowed to move outside of that TIF district and stay within that same TIF agreement, even though she won't be operating in a TIF district anymore.
Well, not really, though. It will be the proposed agreement, which we just got feedback on today, would end that agreement. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be any additional spending. None of the financial benefits of the TIF funding are going to be removed from the TIF district that has already taken place in the remodel of the building. But yes, her business is moving out of the geographic boundaries of the TIF district.
Which was the only stipulation that she had with that TIF redevelopment agreement, is she had to stay located there. There was no sales taxes she had to generate. There was no extra employees she had to hire. There was one stipulation, and it was to stay located at that location for 5 years. And now she's going to be allowed to move out of there.
Well, the point of the TIF was to help with the renovation of the building, which she did complete totally in good faith, and frankly spent significantly more dollars on it than what we gave her in grant funding. I'm not defending anything about her one way or the other, but again, the agreement that's going to come forward, I think, Mr. Fletcher had suggested she has to stay in the corporate limit. She still has to stay open for the full 60-month term that she agreed to. And the building will stay renovated, and it's, I don't know what exactly her plans are for that space, but that would be our intention, would be to bring you an agreement that allows for those conditions.
Could I say something?
Yes.
That's exactly what I was hoping that we would get, because if everything works out correctly, the benefit would be there will be two businesses. Hopefully, she will be able to rent the business that was rehabilitated through TIF funds, and that's the goal. And that's the way I see the goal of that. So thank you.
Did you want to say something? All right, there is a motion on the floor to table by Mr. Nutter and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Any further discussion? Council, take your vote, please. Did everyone vote? No? You didn't have anything? You want to call? Call for a vote, please. Yeah, that's right. This is the motion to table.
Table.
Thank you.
Motion to table. Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Nutter.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilst.
No.
Councilmember Abel.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoheimer.
Aye.
And Mayor Burris.
Aye. Motion passes to table 5-1. Oh, there we go, 5-1. We have now come down to new business, which is, Chair would entertain a motion for 8.1, please.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that Resolution 391-25/26, directing the city attorney to review and report on the status of the real estate purchase contract with Pekin One developer WHP be adopted.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, Abel. Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Mr. Abel.
No.
Oh, excuse me, by Mr. Hills. I apologize, Mr. Hills. I was looking at her. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. At the last city council meeting, a council member requested an item be placed on this agenda to rescind the council's prior action approving the real estate contract with Pekin One developer WHP. The city attorney has advised this is an improper motion because the city cannot simply rescind something that has been acted upon which cannot be undone, such as the execution of a contract and subsequent due diligence activities. Instead, council advised they would like the city attorney to review the contract and present council with a memorandum on the city's contractual obligations, rights, and contingencies. This resolution directs the city attorney to do so. And Mr. Vasselli can speak more on that if council has questions.
Yes,
Mr.
thank you,
Vasselli.
Thank you, Madam Chair, thank you, Mr. Dossi. So the goal of this would be to expound upon what was presented earlier in the evening, and an initial goal being what the city has to do, but more importantly, a goal of this memorandum would be every one of those steps and hoops that WHP has to jump through under this contract to give the city an idea of when votes will be taken and approved or denied to go forward. So this memorandum that will be presented to the board, if this is approved, will give the city council, which can be disseminated to subordinate bodies like the Zoning Board of Appeals, an idea of when these approvals would be triggered by WHP's applications, and this matter can either be voted to go forward or voted to be stopped. That's the goal of this resolution.
Any questions, comments from council?
I've got a couple. So, with all that being said, and everything that you stated earlier in the meeting, I think there's been a little bit of confusion, maybe not just with the public, but amongst maybe some of us. So the first question I want to ask is, when was the effective date of that contract? Was it the night it was approved, or was it 2 months later when it was signed?
It was the last date of execution, which was June 24th, 2025, I believe.
Okay, and with that, they had a 9-month extension for due diligence period.
No, they had a due diligence period. They have no extension. They have one extension that they exercised unilaterally pursuant to the terms of the contract.
Once the contract was signed,
Yes,
they had up to 9 months of a due diligence period
that's correct.
to put down earnest money,
That's correct.
which they did, correct?
That's correct.
And what they've got left is 2 additional 3-month extensions.
6-month extensions.
So they've got 6 months left
Yes.
to
under
come
the
up with their
extensions they have.
zoning request.
Correct.
Or their site plan, or whatever else they need to do.
Correct. To apply for it, that will then again go before the city council.
Correct. Thank you.
You had a couple questions. No more?
Well, I kind of rolled them all together.
Okay, okay. Mr. Nutter?
Yes. Can't remember the date exactly. I think April 24th is when we entered the agreement with WHP.
We approved.
Pardon?
Approved or entered into?
Well, we had the resolution to approve it. In that resolution and in the contract that was presented to us, it was 2 3-month extensions.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, we need to look at.
Yeah, for
we
sure,
need- If we can, look at the deposit and look at that, and, because that's gonna change a lot of dates if it's 6 months versus 3 months, obviously.
And I'm so glad you said that, Mr. Nutter
Yeah.
and Mr. Hills, because the whole point of this is to say, here's the exact timeline,
Yeah.
and here, and to lay it out.
So the memo you're gonna present us is gonna have those
Absolutely.
everything?
Absolutely, yeah.
I
Okay.
have to agree with you. I thought it was 3-2, but I don't have it in front of me.
Well, that's why we need to verify the months and verify the escrow amount based on the extension that they've already applied for.
And they are, yes, they have a right to do it. They
Right.
did do that.
Correct.
I do know these two facts, but I want it in writing that they did deposit all of the earnest money. I know that there was some internet chatter that none of the earnest money was on there, but I don't really pay much attention to the internet chatter. It is, but I know the money was in there.
Right.
And that, to
Okay.
me, that was the most important thing, to make sure that their security money went in.
So I'm going to ask the next one.
Yes.
In that contract, it said to be deposited within 10 working days, I believe. Is that just normal
Oh, absolutely.
legalese?
Yeah.
It can go beyond that?
It happens often. I know the deposit's been made, so if it was 11 days, there would be no breach because it was cured. But if there is a correspondence that goes to WHP after this memorandum, all of anything would be called out in that. But
Excellent.
I don't know the exact date off the top of my head when the earnest money was deposited.
Sure.
And sometimes it's a title company issue too, that the deposit doesn't show up at that point in time, but I know it's in there now, I checked.
Could you get the date of when it was
Absolutely.
deposited with this memo? And also, could you get a copy of the check, so the date that they sent that, I would like to see, or no?
I cannot because it was done by wire, but I'll give you the wire instruction information. They wired it into the.
That'd be fine.
Yeah,
The date, please.
yeah, of course, of course.
That would definitely clarify all the misconfusion with the effective dates, because I'll tell you what, I was one of the first ones, because I was confused. Is an effective date really effective? No, it's a non-effective date in a certain sense.
I understand what you're saying, sir, in the contract, which is standard boilerplate language.
Okay.
The last of the execution of the dates is the effective date. That is standard commercial real estate language for
It
that
is.
provision. And that is what we're going under.
Yep.
Now, again, that does not mean their application for zoning, for example, comes in later. It has not been made yet, and that would go before the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything else from council or Mr. Dossi?
I have nothing else.
Council, take your vote, please, if it works. There we go. Oh, it's still not working? There we go, join again. Fletcher?
I did.
You did, okay. You guys did?
Still a black screen.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. We got a ton. Are you good, or no? Madam Clerk? Roll call, please. Are you ready? Okay, that's all right. Go ahead, go right ahead.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoheimer,
I know that we can hear you.
Councilmember Abel,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilst,
Aye.
Councilmember Nutter,
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher,
Aye.
Mayor Burris.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.2, please.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that resolution number 392-25/26, approving a collective bargaining agreement with the International Association of Firefighters, Local Number 524, for a term May 1, 2026 to April 30, 2031, be adopted.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Hilst and second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dawson.
Thank you, Mayor. The city of Pekin employs 54 firefighters in the IAFF Local 524 Fire Union, which includes all personnel in the fire department, with exception of the fire chief and the deputy chief, and an administrative assistant. The city has a long-standing tradition of professional and amicable collective bargaining agreements with the fire union, and the current 5-year agreement ends April 30th, 2026. City management has been in discussion with the fire union since May of '25 to negotiate a new agreement, and that agreement is ready for the council's final consideration. Some of the major overall terms are a 5-year contract. Minimum department staffing continues at 56, which includes command staff. The 3 battalion chiefs are fully incorporated into the union. This was previously included in the 2022 side letter. Major operational changes are memorializing the drug and alcohol testing substance abuse regulations, memorialize quick response vehicle, which is the QRV program that started in 2025, clarification for keeping disciplinary records, updates to overtime call-ins, updates to eligibility criteria for promotions, changes from hourly pay increase for assuming higher command to a temporary promotion model, updates bereavement leave to match the new state law, change to light duty injury procedures, updates to pregnancy-related light duty and leave, changes to how firefighters pick vacation days. There is no change in benefit time. Changes to education time for obtaining paramedic licensing. Memorialize no residency requirements, previously agreed in August 22 side letter. Correcting the practice of converting sick time bank between shift personnel and 40-hour personnel, and minimum daily manning increase from 12 to 14 to incorporate battalion chief and the QRV engineer. Financial changes are adding cost recovery for firefighter academy and paramedic school if employee resigns. Reduced average scheduled work hours from 52.5 hours to 51.69 hours weekly. Inflationary increase in uniform allowance. Cap usage of comp time from unconstrained to 72 hours per year. Reduce maximum accumulated sick time from 105 days to 60 days, and allow accumulated sick time to be paid to a retirement health savings account at current wage, currently only paid out at retirement at final wage. The wage increases and employees share insurance premiums and 4% in the first year, 3.5%, 3.25, 3.25, and 3.25. Staff feels strongly that this negotiated agreement is good for both the city and the fire union. We would like to thank the fire union for their sincere cooperation throughout the bargaining period, and fully recommend the approval of this resolution. And just for note, I was out on some personal issues at that point in time, so Josh and Tony and Trent can answer some of the detailed and regarding any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council?
I've got one.
Oh, excuse me.
So Eric, I'm gonna direct this one to you. So are all the salary increases for this year in this contract, are those already built in to the proposed budget we've been going over?
That is correct.
Okay. And that proposed budget that we're going over shows an increase from last year to this year in personnel of about $2.4 million. And it shows our general fund budget currently sitting at a negative about $1.2 to $1.3 million. So it doesn't look like we have all the money in there to cover these. How do you explain that?
The $1.23 million per discussions that we had at our budget workshops, we talked about that ties to dollars associated with the first year of the Ludekin loan payment, which we had talked about using reserves for that first year. So that's where that ties out to that piece. Outside of that, we were able to make cuts that basically accommodate this contract, amongst other things. Again, per the direction of the council on that workshop.
We did.
That's how we built the budget out, and that's what was proposed.
11.
There's
So
there's
that
sufficient
includes the
reserves.
2 one-time transfers
That
out
does.
of tourism and the bus department,
That is correct.
which we won't have next year.
That is correct.
Mr. Hills, if you don't mind, the personnel line that I'm seeing in the budget, it's, for the fire department is only going up about
No, I was looking at the personnel line in the general fund.
oh, the entire?
Right.
Okay, understood.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? Should I say, council, take your vote? Should we try it one more time on the computer? If not,
You supposedly fixed
it's
it.
supposedly fixed?
Find out.
Okay, all right, here we go. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 4-2. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.3, please.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that resolution number 393-25/26, authorizing the temporary waiver of Pekin City Code Section 642 to allow deer hunting within the city limits in conjunction with the farm lease with Jeff Yergler, be adopted.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Hilston, second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dossi, once again. Oh, hi, how are you? Mr. Yergler? All right.
I'm going to have Josh go ahead and do this. I think Mr. Yergler would be up to answer any questions once
Yeah.
Josh presents this.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Dossi. So Jeff Yergler here tonight with us, has farmed and maintained the Ludekin property for a few decades now and previously ran the hunting and fishing clubs on the site. In conjunction with a proposed 2026 farming lease, Mr. Yergler has requested the ability to have himself and his immediate family continue to deer hunt the property to control harvest loss that would otherwise occur. This is not the hunting club. There's no revenue being generated by this. This is just, and Mr. Yergler can explain more if you like, to reduce crop loss. Discharge of a firearm or bow is generally not permitted in the city limit, so council would need to approve a temporary waiver of the city code to allow for hunting. The waiver would be temporary in conjunction with that farm lease and would require the $1 million liability insurance policy to be included in the lease, which Mr. Yergler actually already carries. That said, it's also of note that state law provides that the city is not liable for any inherently hazardous activity on public property, which includes shooting. The waiver also specifies that hunting can only take place with a bow, crossbow, or shotgun as opposed to like a long-range rifle to mitigate any risk of long-range projectiles. The draft farm lease is included for informational purposes. As you'll recall, we do several farm leases throughout the city, and as long as it's 2 years or less in term, we handle that at a staff level per state law and city code. But wanted to make sure you were able to see in there that, this is incorporated. He's maintaining the whole property, he's doing the mowing, he's maintaining the boat launch, he's doing all these things. And this is just one provision of that to allow for the highest possible yield and, therefore the highest possible profit for the city as well. So Mr. Yergler is here to explain how the crop loss works, all the safety measures that they have had in place since the 1980s. They've had 0 injuries thus far. So for your consideration, and Mr. Yergler is here if you need him.
And I'm going to let you speak here, Mr. Yergler, but, or Jeff, I'll call you Jeff. But how many acres do you farm?
Well, the top area is tillable right at 255, 260.
Okay.
About 185, 190 CRP. And then the balance of the property is either timber or timber pasture.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's, and it also includes the lakes and all the ponds.
Okay, all right, I will let you speak to us all. Thank you.
Okay, so I moved down here in 1989 and took the property over. And in 1989, we started the fishing club and the deer hunting club. And in 1991, we started my pheasant hunting club. During that time frame, in the 36 years we've been here, we have never had one time where there has been any type of a injury or lawsuit levied against us on the part of the hunting or the fishing club, whether it was deer hunting or the bird hunting.
Okay.
So part of the reason the deer hunting has been very safe is our property, in our mind, is broken into certain sections. And each one of my hunters has a certain section. They each have, say, 2 to 3 stands in that section. Every time they go hunting, they text all the other hunters that have permission to let them know I'm going to section 1, I'll be in stand 2. Everybody in our group knows where section 1 and stand 2 is. So you could be hunting in section 2, section 3, section 5. Everybody knows where everybody's at. Anybody that shoots a deer and wounds it and the deer starts to run towards the timber, they usually text messages, I've got a wounded deer. If you see him, put him down, which that eliminates a lot of the tracking and a lot of the problems where you might have hunters walking into areas with hunters not knowing there's people walking.
Okay.
So we have done this for 36 years. And because of that, we almost never lose a deer that's shot because we've got a lot of eyes looking for wounded deer. And they know, okay, he was in stand 1 in section 1, I know which way he's running. You know, he might be running right in front of a stand where you got another shooter. He puts the deer down, texts back, hey, I shot your wounded deer. So that's what we've done on the deer for the whole time we've been here. Now, we have had as high as 35 hunters at one time on that property over the years. We would be looking at basically 6 to 7 at a max right now. 2 of them being my sons, 1 being my son-in-law, who by the way is an ex-Marine, my 4 grandsons, and possibly my granddaughter if she decides to hunt. That's up to her dad.
Is that Ruby?
That would be Ruby. I've already got a gun for her. But everybody that would be using the property knows it like the back of their hand. I mean, they've all been raised here most of their life. So I just am trying to get across that the liability to the city would be very, very, very minimal when it's just my family members, number one. And I currently have $1 million policy. I just talked to my insurance agent today that I have a current $1 million policy on the property in general that would cover my family hunting. But she said she could easily do another $1 million at a pretty reasonable level because since I'm not receiving money on it, the insurance level premium drops way down. So in essence, I could end up with a $2 million policy with virtually no chance of it, you know, being used. And when we had our pheasant hunting club, we had 3,000 to 4,000 birds a year that we were doing pheasant hunts with.
Wow.
We had a lot of corporate hunts, but we also, the last 3 to 4 years, we had a lot of wounded warrior type hunts where we would have 6 to 10 individuals come out for pheasant hunts, a meal, get their birds cleaned, visit. A big share of those were wounded warriors, but if you were disabled in any way, shape, or form, in most cases, you were allowed.
Nice.
Over the years, the reason I shut down my club when I did was when my cousin put the property on the market. A lot of the wounded warrior people come from 3 to 5 states away. I did not want to have hunts lined up so that if Mary Jo sold the property and somebody didn't want hunting on it, I would have guys that were 3 states away that had made plans, and now everything had to be canceled. So that was really the main reason I shut the club down when I did. And we kept doing the deer hunting, and we kept the fishing club up through the end of November this year on the fishing, and then the deer hunting ended the last day of December, which was the end of our previous lease that we had when you guys did the buyout on Mary Jo.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. I will tell you that the amount of deer on our property is enormous.
I've heard that.
And if we do not harvest them, we have, out of the roughly 250 to 60 acres of tillable ground, within 2 to 3 years, there will probably be 60 to 80 acres of that will not be farmable. Because the damage will be so intense that I will plant it, I will put all the money in it, but when we go to harvest it, there's nothing there.
Okay.
Which the lease we've arranged for the city and myself is basically, it's what amounts to a variable cash rent. The more money I make, the more money the city makes. basically it's a 50-50 arrangement. So if we have a year where we don't have as much deer damage, we've obviously got a better income potential. If we do not harvest the deer, every year that we don't, the population will keep growing. And we will get to the point where all the smaller 5 to 7 to 9 acre fields that maybe have timber on 2 sides or 3, there virtually will be almost nothing there.
Okay.
Like my driveway, I don't know if you know where my driveway goes to my cabin. There's a small 6.5 acre field close to my cabin. That was planted in beans this last year. When we harvested it, there was 3.5 acres I didn't even combine because the deer had it eaten down to 3 inches tall. That 6.5 acre field made 32 bushel per acre, which meant basically the back half was around 55, maybe 60, the front half was 0. This is what we're looking at if we don't control the herd. So with our safety record, the fact it's all gonna be family, and I did have a good conversation with the local, Leo Finn, who's one of the top 3 or 4 guys in the area, working for the state as a game warden. And I told him what was happening and how it had changed, and he said, you definitely need to control that herd, because one of the other factors everybody doesn't know of always is CWD, which is a very deadly disease for deer. The higher the population is, the higher your chances are of CWD. We could be looking at a CWD outbreak that would kill half the herd in 1 year. So I know there's people that are don't kill deer, but if they understand the whole scope and the concept that's behind it, it becomes a much better situation to control a herd than it is to go out with my tractor and pick up dead deer all over the farm because the CWD hit and we lost 100 deer in 1 season.
Okay,
So that's kind of where we're at on that part of it.
okay. Does council have any questions for Jeff?
I do. I have one.
Mr. Fletcher?
So, in an ideal world, if everything's wonderful and you shoot all these deer, how much money is the city gonna get?
Well, we're not charging for the deer because this is all family.
No, I'm not talking about that. When the harvest comes in, how much is the city's share?
The city's gonna get
50%.
50% of the
50% of
total
what?
income. The
Right.
total net income. So the way we're set up right now is I'm gonna pay all the expenses. We'll have.
Yeah, I read that. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get a number, is
So
all.
anyway, just as an instance, on a good average year, could be in the 40 to 45 range for both of us. Deer damage, 30 to 35. Extreme
40
deer
to
damage-
$45,000? Okay.
Extreme deer damage could be in the 20 to 25,000 range. So the more deer we can control, and we shoot mostly antlerless deer, which is the breeders. Almost every antlerless deer will have twins the next year, which means now that deer's got 3. A year later, the 2 does that she had, if they're both does, now they will have 1 the first year, 2 the second year. So the multiplication goes quick. And it's just a situation where we will concentrate on antlerless deer. If we end up taking more deer than we need for our own consumption, then we'll be donating deer to food banks, which there's several.
Nice.
That was my question.
Several in the area that will take, there's several butcher shops that will take deer in, process them out, and donate those to food banks.
Very nice.
So-
Thank you for answering that.
So if if we shoot 20 deer for our families, but we need to shoot 32, the other 12 deer are gonna go to a food bank, so somebody that needs it can also have something to eat.
Yeah, very good. Are you done? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other council, Mr. Nutter?
Thank you very much for the info. I didn't realize the revenue was that high, but that's wonderful. I am not against what you're doing, but I was made aware of a state bill that passed the first of this year, and I am recommended that we table this until our attorney has an opportunity to read State Bill 0710. Because there is information in there about what he wants to do, how it's handled, who can do it, permitting, the whole bit, so I would like to table this until the, what's the date? April 8th? Or 13th? 13th. To table it till April 13th, and the reason I say that, the state bill goes into effect June 1st, and it goes for a certain period of time, so we would still have time to approve it if, or however it comes back. I just want to make sure that we're covered legally through the state bill, and also for you, for what you may have to do permit-wise.
I'll second that.
So,
You
Mr.
need to,
Yergler.
you need to read it versus what I just heard, that's why.
Well, the one thing I wouldn't know for sure on the state bill, because I haven't heard it, which I usually keep up on that stuff, is if our lease agreement says I can hunt, and the state bill happens after our lease agreement, I would think we would have
Yeah.
eminent domain on it the first year. That doesn't mean the second year, but at least the first year we would.
Okay.
I want to make sure that we're covered because we made a commitment at a previous meeting, no nothing. And I understand the contract, I read it, the whole thing, but I just want to make sure we're covered.
No problem doing that. Obviously, we're not,
Have you heard of this bill?
we track all the legislation, but
Yeah.
I will, either myself or lobby firms that we work with or staff does. But I'd rather do a memorandum, Madam Mayor. I mean, I would rather do a memorandum
Yeah.
and present it at the board meeting, or it'll be another memorandum we have for the board meeting.
For
rather
the
than Google
13th
it
of
or go through
April.
it. Yeah.
And that still gives us plenty of time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I have no problem doing that, Madam Chair.
Okay. Well, since it was brought to your attention, I would like it checked out as well.
Yeah, of course. Oh, it'll be for everybody. I'll give it to everybody.
I know, I just meant, I'd never heard of the bill.
Including
either.
Mr. Yergler, just so you know exactly where it is, because I tried reading it twice today, and it's a state bill, so you know what, I hate to say it, it's got a lot of legalese in there that I don't
What
understand.
number was it, did you say?
SB 0710. And it went into effect January of this year, and there's some action in there that doesn't become effective till January of next year. So I just want to make sure that we're good.
And I'll do a memorandum. Obviously, I don't want to just Google it. I mean, that's not really like the way to do it. I'll do a memorandum and present it to everybody. And if with the council's approval, I'll give it to Mr. Yergler too, so
Oh, yeah.
for his edification.
Absolutely.
I'll also give it to the police chief as well.
Okay. All right. So I have a motion on the floor to table it from Mr. Nutter and second by Mr. Fletcher. Let's see. Any other comments or questions or concerns? We're going to try this again. Council, take your vote, please. This is to table. Motion passes to table 5-1. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.4, please. So, Mr. Yergler, you will be kept informed on what he finds out. It'll probably come, once you find something out, is this going to come to our next, on our next agenda?
At the latest, it will be at the next board meeting, but if I get an answer earlier, I will make sure that it's circulated to all of you, and then it'll eventually go to Mr. Yergler.
Perfect, thank you.
Mary, I would like to also say that since I know the property probably better than anybody in the state of Illinois, I've told Josh that if you guys need any type of information or help that I might be able to provide, whether it's just subdivisions or drainage or whatever, don't hesitate to contact me. I'd be more than happy to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly
Thank you.
of the whole property.
Thank you.
So, and you know, like I said, my two sons and I probably know it better than anybody.
Mhm.
So if you ask me a specific question, we might be able to give you where you need to start. Instead of spending 5 days with an engineer, you might literally be able to put him on the spot and say, start here.
Thank you. Because
So-
I've heard there's, was there some kind of plans out there to have another pond or lake or something built?
Well, I think there's 7 ponds total on the property. A couple of them need a little work on their dam. Their overflows have rusted out because they were put in with metal pipes, and the metal pipes are now 65 or 70 years old. But a lot of those ponds are designed perfectly for 3 to 5 homes around them. And it would be a shame to not utilize them if you end up doing the housing side, because everybody knows water sells lots.
Yeah.
And they're isolated enough that you wouldn't be on top of each other. You know, you'd have a pond over here and an acre, 250 yards away, there's another pond, and then a half mile, there's another pond. And so where the data center was gonna go, there's a fairly large pond there. You could put 10 or 12 homes around that pond with a little work on the dam. And it'd be a beautiful site because there's a lot of slope down to the pond. So you'd build up here, you'd have a nice slope down to the pond, good view.
Madam Mayor,
It'd be ideal.
that's a little, we need to move on.
Yeah,
This is
that's all right.
additional information,
No,
which is
I think
good.
it's wonderful information.
but,
I appreciate it. No,
yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be glad to help on anything that you guys need.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodness. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.4, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that resolution number 394-25/26, publication of the zoning map as of December 31st, 2025, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Nutter, second by Mr. Hilst. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. This will be a long one. This is the annual publication of the most current zoning map.
I'd like all of them to be that short. Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the council? Council, take your vote, please. I don't know if mine took or not. There we go. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.5, please.
Madam Mayor, I move resolution number 395-25/26, approving an intergovernmental agreement to accept a recycling grant from Tazewell County be approved.
Motion made by Mr. Nutter and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you. The city of Pekin has historically applied for and received grant funding from Tazewell County to support recycling efforts for the city. Each year, the funding is established through an intergovernmental agreement between the city and the county. The funding allocation for fiscal year '27 is in support of and connected with the county-approved recycling program. Tazewell County's grant amount that the city will receive for this year is $96,354.36. These funds are used in support of the city's recycling program. It assists with the equipment repairs, disposal fees, and educational materials. Reporting guidelines are established and tracked through the grant process, so the county can track landfill diversion rates resulting from recycling efforts. Staff is or has reviewed and recommends approval of this intergovernmental agreement. And Simon's available for any questions on it.
Council have any questions for Mr. Simon? Or, excuse me, Mr. Grimm. Simon Grimm.
We always love grant money.
That's right. Council, take your vote, please. Goodness sakes. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.6, please.
Madam Mayor, I move resolution number 397-25/26, authorizing the city to enter into a joint purchasing agreement with the state of Illinois for rock salt. Be approved.
You missed 8.6.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I got ahead of that.
8.6, I apologize if I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, 8.6, my error. Skip the line.
This is
Move that.
about 1,000 gallons.
I got it,
Yeah.
yeah. Resolution number 396-25/26, approving the purchase of 1,096-gallon recycling carts be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Nutter and second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution has approved the purchase of 1,096 gallon, total of 1,000. And they are 96-gallon recycling carts, supporting the transition to every other week recycling collection. The cost of this purchase is $51,500 and will be paid out of the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. With the transition to the bi-weekly recycling pickup, the need for residential storage capacity will increase in some cases. The city will offer these larger recycling carts as a supplement to the previous 64-gallon carts. Additionally, we'll no longer sell the 64-gallon carts, as the 96-gallon carts are overall better than the smaller size. They are less likely to tip over in the wind and more robust in construction. Residents will be able to request one 96-gallon cart at no cost until April 30th of 2026. After that date, they'll remain available for purchase at $60 per cart. Staff did get 3 quotes for the purchase of these recycling carts, one from our current supplier and 2 additional suppliers. The recommended quote is from our current supplier at $51,500. One quote did come in at a lower cost of $48,400, which was a $3,100 difference. Staff is recommending the slightly higher cost because we currently have a stock of the spare parts that are compatible with the current supplier's product. And Simon can answer more questions on this if need be.
Mr. Grimm, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just with that, one other additional reason, if you will, for going with the current suppliers, it's the company we know. This is a larger quantity of carts, so we wouldn't necessarily want to go with an unknown quality at that level.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
Just a comment. So, Mr. Dossi, how many have been requested so far? Or Mr. Grimm?
As of this morning, it was around 650.
650?
Yeah, I want to say at the
Okay.
end of today, I checked right before the meeting, it was a little over 700.
So,
Yeah.
1,000 is definitely within range, and possibly 4-week delivery, is that correct?
Yes, from order to delivery.
If this is
To
approved.
the city, and then we'll take a couple weeks.
Disbursement
to-
from there.
Right, correct.
Okay. And I appreciate your military calendar you put on there.
Oh, sorry. It's a bad habit.
Yes, Mr. Fletcher.
Simon, so the cheaper tote, obviously, you probably haven't looked at. What's the difference? The wheels different? The size of the wheels, the axle, the thickness of the tote? What's the difference?
Well, so the piece that, that we have that we use for maintenance a lot is, for instance, is the pin for the lid. Those end up snapping a lot.
Right.
The wheels, I have not seen, so I couldn't tell you if the diameter is any different on those or not.
So you're telling me that the lid, though, is different than what we
The-
use
the pin.
to fix them?
Correct, yes.
And it would be more cost, even though if we went with the cheaper, down the road fixing people's totes would eventually be more money.
Correct.
That's the only way I could vote on something that would be more expensive than the cheapest bid.
Sure,
And
sure,
I
understood.
I don't know how many parts we
Yeah,
have in
I-
stock, but I know that they have quite a few. And if they do get if they replace a can out, they usually strip it for parts, so you have a buildup of more parts that we didn't necessarily purchase. They replaced out under warranty or whatever.
Yeah, I understand. I just want to make sure if the longevity of spending extra money pays off, I don't have a problem with that.
And we actually had that discussion, and I brought your name into that discussion. I said,
Thank you very much.
asked that very question, so.
I appreciate
I
that.
just felt with the parts and things, it would pretty much be a wash, or we'd be a little bit ahead.
Thank you.
So where'd all the spare parts come from?
They had purchased. spare
Yeah,
parts
we've
over
purchased
time.
previously, but then additionally, if a toter comes in completely broken, a cart rather, if a cart comes in completely broken, we will hold on to the good parts that we
If it
can.
comes in from being bought brand new?
No, from
no.
like a warranty exchange, because,
If it's broken, like it's cracked or whatever, they may take the wheels off, the axle for the wheels, the pins for the lid.
So
keep the
people
lid.
are giving their totes back to you that they've
If we
already
replace
paid
it
and
out,
bought?
if we replace the tote out.
Yeah. So
Because it's broken, if they call us and it's broken and we replace the tote, we'll pick up the broken tote and we'll bring it back and we'll strip it to use for parts.
Even if the homeowner doesn't want to give that tote back? I mean, they paid for it, right? It's
Well,
theirs.
so-
Right, but when you purchase with this tote, for instance, there's a 10-year warranty. And so if it's damaged, we'll swap it out, or repair as necessary.
I think yeah, so
Maybe the
you buy
homeowner want a
you buy
broken
your
tote.
garbage can and it's under warranty.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
You don't buy it, if I give you and I leave you that can, you have 2 cans, that's where I'm at. They're still whole, Rick, I think they're still whole with the can, they just have a can that's not broken.
okay.
We take the broken can, we strip the good parts off of it and reuse it to fix other people's cans if it's broken or whatever.
Any other questions? Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.7, please.
Madam Mayor, I move resolution number 397-25/26, authorizing the city to enter into a joint purchasing agreement with the state of Illinois for rock salt be approved.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Nutter and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is required by IDOT, Illinois Department of Transportation, to authorize the city to enter into a joint purchasing agreement with the state of Illinois for participation in the state's joint purchase master contract for road salt for the 2026-2027 winter season. The contract will be for 1 year with no option to renew. The city plans to submit a request for 2,500 tons of salt on an 80% contract, meaning the city can decide later in the year to actually order at least 2,000 tons, 80% of the contract, up to 3,750 tons, 120% of the contract. The city must submit for inclusion in the state bid no later than April 7th, 2026. While the cost is not known at this time, we anticipate it to be between $70 to $100 per ton. The price per ton for the previous year was $78.90. The proposed fiscal year 27 budget includes $250,000 for salt, and that is the maximum spending threshold approved by the resolution. If we believe we will need to actually order above that amount, staff will have to come back to council for additional spending authority.
Okay.
And Simon or Justin can answer more questions on that if you have any.
Any questions from council?
Just one. That's the purchase of the salt only? Thank you, Mr. Vasselli, you're out of order. I didn't. You've spoken more than we anticipated, yeah.
That's how we all want to say, yes.
So it's the purchase of the salt, not the delivery charge? Is the delivery charge included in that price per ton?
Yes, yeah, it's all built in.
Okay.
Yes.
Because years past, there was questions brought up about that, and we ended up paying more for the delivery charge sometimes, so thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.8, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that resolution number 398-25/26, approving the FY 2027 tourism event sponsorship be approved.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Once again, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Dossi, to explain this, please.
Thank you. The Tourism Committee recommends the attached fiscal year 2027 event sponsorships. These sponsorships are in addition to the 3 city-led events the Tourism Committee has planned for fiscal year 27, including the Hot Air Balloon Festival, 1 downtown street concert, and Christmas on Court Street. The Tourism Fund currently has $30,000 budgeted for the city's events, which is separate from the sponsorship line. And Josh can answer some further questions if you have any.
Okay. Mr. Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give a lot of context. Some context. There were a lot of documents in the packet about this. I just provided council with everything that the Tourism Committee got. There was a meeting in February in which the event hosts were asked to come to the Tourism Committee, talk about their event. Then ultimately, at another meeting after that, the Tourism Committee deliberated and ultimately came up with this funding scheme. So any questions about any particular event, I'll do my best to answer. I may not know the details. But again, these are, generally reoccurring events or events that have happened that have got community support. We use the funding as budgeted and approve them all at once, and then they send us an invoice, and then they're supposed to send us a summary statement of their revenues and expenditures after the event. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise,
Just a comment. The revenue that it generates is, these three events in particular, I know the Balloon Fest was huge, Christmas on Court, and the downtown concert. Those are all lucrative for the city. It helps us out, it gives us money, it gives the community an opportunity to have something nice in their community. So I'm 100% for this.
It's connection with the community and the people. Yes, Mr.
Just a
Abel.
comment, Josh. Hopefully next year, we can fully fund the request from the soccer team. They don't talk rooms, they talk hotels. They're up to 97 teams this year, if I read Troy's email correct. And that's filling restaurants, that's tourism 110%. And I just hope we can give them what they got blindsided last year by a 600% increase in the land rent for the athletic facility by the park board. They didn't expect, but they got through it. But I mean, they're growing every year, and that's probably a big a draw, or one of the biggest draws, as far as getting people that don't live here, they come in, they eat, buy gas, stay here. But like you said, we're talking the number of hotels they need. They don't count rooms, so they're filling them up every year, so it's
Yeah,
something
Councilmember
to keep
Abel,
in
and
mind. I wouldn't want to lose them to a surrounding community.
yeah, this request is totally open to council's modifications if that's something you'd like to do. If you'll recall in the budget workshop, there was a discussion about, $150,000 that was allocated this year for some improvements, deferring that. Some of that's going to the general fund next year at council's early direction. Some of that was directed to go back to the tourism fund. So if you wanted to add dollars, change dollars, like there is room to do that kind of stuff in the existing budget, as long as we know and can make those changes for you before the next meeting.
On this budget, we can still, the upcoming
On the
budget,
FY '27 budget, if you want to change any of the tourism committee's
They asked for
recommendations.
10,000, we gave them 5. I'd like to see them get the full 10,000.
Yeah.
I tried to find somewhere to take a little bit apart. They're all great, and they all need the money, I got that. But that's the one that stands out to me as far as bringing the most heads and beds, whatever you want to call it, into the community. And everybody benefits, from
But it's-
restaurants to
But it's also
stores.
good for kids.
Pardon?
It's also good for kids.
Yeah, so if council wants to make any motions to amend it, you're fully welcome to do so
Yeah.
as the council.
Okay.
would
I
like
make
to
a
amend it.
motion that we amend the soccer tournament from 5,000 to 10,000 based on the heads and beds, which was a huge number over and above all the other activities that are on there, so.
So did you make that, or do you want him to, or you want to
I'm
second
going to
it?
make it I want to get.
Okay.
I'll
One second.
All right.
Thank you.
So motion made by Mr. Nutter, second by Mr. Abel, to change the soccer from 5 to 10,000. Is that good enough, how I worded it?
Yes, yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, okay. Other than that, everything else is correct, so we need an amendment.
I've still got
Wait, he's-
discussions
Excuse me,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
about the whole thing, but I don't know, I mean, if you want to go ahead and vote on this amendment, and then I can give you my comments, or I can give them to you now, I don't care.
Well, I think if you've got comments, let's get it over with, don't we?
Well, hold
I
on,
know.
Mayor.
We have to vote on the amendment first.
Yeah.
You have to vote on the amendment first?
Amend first. Is your comment about the amendment, sir, or no?
Not specifically. no.
Okay, then it would, sorry, Madam Chair.
That's all right, no.
We move through the amendment process first, and if it's in the substantive
Right.
thing, then
Okay.
Councilmember Hilst could make his general comment about the now amended motion.
Okay, I
Sorry to
didn't
make this
realize
more
that. Nope,
complicated. Like I
didn't
said,
realize
I've
that.
said too much tonight, so I apologize.
All right. So is everyone ready to vote? Council, take your vote. Motion passes 6-0 on the amendment. Okay. Now, any further discussion? Mr. Hilst.
So I know Councilmember Fletcher and I had a discussion about all of these before the meeting tonight. And the way I looked at it when I first read through all these is this could go on all night long, especially when we've already been here quite a while tonight. Mr. Fletcher brought up the idea, and I think he asked in the past, regardless of how the tourism brings it to the staff, we thought it would be better if we could get these brought to us individually. Like just what John just did. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I would have raised that to probably 15 or 20,000 if we had all these figured out. But then now I could sit here and want to amend one or two of them. And then Dave could want to amend one or two. And we may not all agree on what we're amending them to. I mean, this could just go way out of hand here and last all night. I mean, because I don't agree with all these.
So,
So should we,
so last year, this was the first thing that I voted on, and I abstained from this because I said I didn't have enough information on each one of these requests, and I've read it and looked at it. I think most are worthy, but I think they need to be looked at individually because you want to reward what brings the most people into town. That's what tourism is. You want to use the most hotels and so on. So I asked last year, and Josh told me he thought that that could be done. But then I didn't get to you, Josh, so I apologize when I saw this come on the agenda on Friday with the WHP and everything that's been going on. I did not reach out to you, but I remember we had this conversation in your office last year, and you thought it was very doable to bring these one at a time. So that's what I would like to see done. How that gets done, I don't know.
well, Mr. Fletcher, I will say that probably a thing or two did get fall through the crack. But I think it's a good idea that we could, just like on budgeting, if someone misses a budget workshop, they call someone in, or they'll have two council members come in at a time. So I would suggest that as well.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not opposed to that if that's what council wants to do. I would just, the regulations for the tourism committee were kind of wholesale changed, I think 2 years ago. This is the process that's in the city code that the committee recommends sponsorship levels as a part of the fund's budget as we develop the budget. And the committee structure for any kind of committee, right? They do the legwork on stuff and then they recommend something to council. Again, if you all want to see these come one at a time, that's fine, but I think the change 2 years ago was that these are very regular events. Council didn't want to see them one at a time, so we brought a slate, and they were approved, and again, you can modify anything you want, but I understand your point, Mr. Hilson and Mr. Fletcher.
There's been a lot of
Bring
them.
the slate to us, not just one at a time, bring the slate to us.
Well, I don't know, what I'm kind of understanding is that everybody wants to vote individually on each event, which is opposite of what was done 2 years ago when we started bringing a slate
But
like
they made
this.
a lot of changes to these this year. And I'll give you one quick example that stuck out to me. The amount of money for the fireworks display, which is once a year for a couple hours. They raised that $5,000, and they took the Marigold Festival and lowered it $5,000, which is a 4-day event, and probably one of our biggest tour events in the city. That doesn't make any logical sense to me. At all.
I agree.
That's why I want to see them individually. Or I'll just vote no on the whole thing, other than the one John already amended, because I certainly agreed with everything he said about that one.
I'm like that. I'd hate to vote no, and the worthy candidates miss out on it. And I agree with what John said. That soccer tournament is the biggest, draw as far as people come and stay in the hotels. It definitely deserves that money, if not more, like you said. But there might be a couple on there that are questionable in my mind.
Okay, well, I misunderstood. I thought the slate
Said
was brought
20,000, Rick,
to,
sorry.
I thought the slate was brought to two at a time, and then you can say, yes, no, this one needs more, this one needs less, blah, blah, blah. Not each individual one, then another one, then another one, then another one.
And I don't know if,
That's a lot of-
you know, I don't know the dates on all of these, when they're supposed to occur throughout the year, but I mean, I think there was 12 on here. Maybe you could put 6 on one agenda and 6 on the next agenda, or 4, 4, and 4, however you know, I don't know that they need to all be voted on at the same time.
We have to be able to divide it up between them.
Well, I think the idea of bringing them all at once again was that it's a significant amount of money in total.
Yeah.
And I think 2 years ago, when council talked about it, they wanted to see them together so that they didn't fund one and then not have money to fund the next one. And, you know, and again, I am totally apathetic to whichever council wants to do. This is just how 2 years ago you talked about doing it, so this is how we did it.
Well,
I personally think that they should all be brought to us at once, but we should be able to ask questions on each individual one if we want, like John just did. Or that Mr. Fletcher or Ms. Hoheimer can come in and say, I want to sit down and talk to you about all these individually.
Yeah, and if you'd like
I
to
don't know.
table, I
Do we have
mean,
time to table? Okay.
Soccer's in May, so that might be the earliest one.
Okay.
yeah, for example, last year, this wasn't until after the budget was approved, but then at the budget workshop, I thought I understood council wanted to see it earlier so that it was approved before the budget. And again, I don't care which way, but
Yeah.
I'm in no rush to get this
Well,
approved.
I can't table it, but if somebody wants to.
the only other comment I have, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, I think a year or 2 years ago, we emphasized to bring back revenue and expenses for any of these events. Is that correct?
Yeah, the city code actually specifies that after the event, they're supposed to turn in a summary of their revenues and expenses.
Within a certain amount of time, or?
Yeah,
it's what,
30 days or 60
30,
days.
60, 90 days. So my question is, are all these that are listed on here, did they come back to fulfill that requirement?
I do not believe I have them for all of them. I believe I have it for a majority of them, and I can certainly list out which ones, if anybody would like, or if you're going to table it, I can have that ready for the next meeting.
Why don't you have it ready?
Because I know there's some things on there that I'm like Mr. Hilst, I'm concerned about, not just the amount of money, but what's the revenue out of it? You know, the heads and beds, or whatever we want to call, or the other funding that comes in because of it. So, you know, if we're going to make a rule per the city code, let's abide by the rules. If you can't, pardon me, if you can't provide that information, I'm sorry. Once you start doing that, then we'll take a look at it.
Well, and again, to clarify, the revenue wouldn't be revenue to the city, it's
Right,
the event's
right,
revenue and expenses.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct, so. So if we do table it, what we just voted on for amending the one will be in that tabled,
Correct.
We are tabling the amended motion with the enhanced or enlarged soccer amount.
we're tabling that, or we're tabling the entire vote for the whole
We're
thing?
tabling the entire thing, but as
The
amended.
amendment, yeah,
Gotcha.
as
The
amended.
amendment stands,
Excellent.
then we're tabling the amendment.
Okay, so somebody's got to make the motion.
Somebody has to make a motion, I have to have a second.
I'll make a motion to table it till the next council meeting.
Second.
So motion made by Mr. Fletcher to table, and second by Mr. Abel. I don't think we need any further discussion. Council, take your vote, please. Motion to table the amended motion, 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.9, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that resolution number 399-25/26, approving a $2,500 beautification grant with Gary and Krista Flynn for a building mural at 525 Court Street be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi, and I do want you to know that Mr. Brisbane is in the back of the room if you need any questions asked.
Okay, thank you. Krista and Gary Flynn are seeking $2,500 to have a mural painted on the Pocket Park side of their building at 525 Court Street. The grant will assist with the cost of materials for the project, primer, paint, brushes, etc. Painting of the mural is to be done by students from Pekin High School. The Beautification Committee has recommended approval of this resolution. And Simon, and as you stated, Mr. Brisbane
Mr.
are
Brisbane
available
is
for
here. Mhm.
questions.
Would anyone like Mr. Brisbane to come to the podium? No? Any questions or comments from the council?
I have just one. If we approve this, I'd suggest that we also look at that pocket park to get it, number one, cleaned up, fix the bricks that are in there that are busted, gone, et cetera, et cetera. So as a project internally, we need to take a look at that so the entire thing can be beautified, so.
Did you want to say something, Mr. Dossi?
No, I just gave Simon the eye to get it done.
Thank you. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8.10, please.
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 4385-25/26, repealing and replacing Divisions 2 through 9 and Divisions 11 of Chapter 4, Article 1 of the Pekin City Code regarding the adoption of the 2024 International Codes, the 2023 National Electrical Code, and affirming applicable State of Illinois construction codes be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi. Bless
Thank you, Mayor. As much as I enjoy reading these, I'm going to let Nick McQuett go ahead and present this.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Mr.
Thanks,
McQuett.
John. Yep. Chapter 4 of the City Code establishes the building regulations applicable within the City of Pekin, including provisions governing building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fuel, gas, energy codes, existing buildings, property maintenance. These regulations are primarily based on nationally recognized model codes published by the International Code Council together with codes adopted and mandated by the state of Illinois. The city currently enforces the 2015 editions of several international codes. These editions are now outdated and no longer reflect current construction practices, modern administrative provisions, and nationally recognized safety standards. The ordinance presented repeals the city's prior adoption of 2015 I-codes and updates the city's building regulations to the 2024 International Code Cycle. Adoption of the most current code cycle ensures the city continues to enforce modern construction standards associated to protect public health, safety, and welfare. This ordinance will adopt the 2024 International Building Code, 2024 International Residential Code, 2024 International Mechanical Code, 2024 International Fuel Gas Code, 2024 International Existing Building Code, 2024 International Property Maintenance Code, 2023 National Electric Code, as well as state mandated codes, including the Illinois Plumbing Code and Illinois Energy Conservation Code, are adopted by reference and remain in full force and effect as required by state law. Local amendments contained within this ordinance clarify administrative procedures and enforcement provisions specific to the city of Pekin. This ordinance also confirms that the city will not require automatic fire sprinkler systems in single-family and two-family residential dwellings. Staff does recommend approval.
Any questions from the council? Oops, I turned my mic off. Any questions from the council? That was a lot, thank you.
That was way too much.
You know what, you did.
And I wrote it.
You did a lot of work. We appreciate that so much. Thank you. It's not easy. Council, take your vote, please. I'm sorry, I'll get to you in a minute. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8-11, please.
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 4386-25/26, amending Chapter 4, Article 1 of the Pekin City Code by creating Division 16 Accessibility Code be approved.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi, how about if you take this one?
I already passed it to Nick.
right.
Mr. McQuaid.
Yep. So this ordinance amends Chapter 4, Article 1 of the City Code by creating a new Division 16 titled Accessibility Code to formally recognize and incorporate the Illinois Accessibility Code within the city's building regulations. The Illinois Accessibility Code is promulgated by the Illinois Capital Development Board pursuant to Illinois Environmental Barriers Act and establishes statewide accessibility requirements for certain buildings facilities. While the code is already applicable as a matter of state law, this ordinance clarifies its administration and enforcement within the city of Pekin by incorporating it into the city code alongside other construction regulations. This ordinance does not reduce or alter any state accessibility requirements. Instead, it ensures that the city's code clearly reflects state mandated accessibility standards that apply to construction and building alterations within the city. And again, staff recommends approval.
Thank you so much. Again, any questions? Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. Chair, we entertain a motion for 8-12, please.
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 4387-25/26, amending Pekin City Code, Chapter 3, Article 2, Division 3, regarding sewer contractor licensing requirements and establishing denial, suspension, revocation, and appeal procedures. Be approved.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Fletcher and second by Mr. Abel, excuse me. Mr. Dossi?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll give Nick a little break here. This ordinance is amending Chapter 3, Article 2, Division 3 of the City Code relating to the sewer contractor licensing requirements. The proposed amendment strengthens contractor qualification standards, increases the bond and insurance requirements, and establishes a formal denial, suspension, revocation, and appeal process for sewer contractor licenses. The purpose of the amendment is to enhance public protection and risk management for sewer construction work performed within the city. It's increasing the surety bond requirements from $10,000 to $25,000. It's requiring proof of general liability insurance in the amount of $500,000 per occurrence. Establishes clear standards under which a sewer contractor license may be denied, suspended, or revoked. Creates a structured administrative appeal process to ensure fairness and due process. The key changes are the bond increases, again, raising the surety bond to $25,000. It better protects the city against potential damages, incomplete work, or restoration failures. Insurance requirements, requiring a general liability coverage of $500,000 per occurrence. And the denial and revocation standards and establishing objective criteria for denying or revoking a license, including fraudulent application information, deficient work history, lack of required insurance or bonding, or prior disciplinary action by another municipality. There is an appeal procedure providing a defined appeal process with written notice, timelines, and review by the city council or a designated hearing officer. As far as operational impact, the amendments are going to improve enforcement consistency and provides clear authority to address the contractors with repeated deficiencies or compliance issues. It also formalizes due process protections through a structured appeal mechanism. And staff is recommending approval of this ordinance to strengthen the oversight of sewer construction activities, reduce municipal risk exposure, and ensure fair administrative procedures. And I'll just speak, I think Mr. Nutter sits in a lot of the adjudication and stuff, and we do have issues with some of the plumbing that's out there and taking advantage of the community. And I do think this ordinance is going to help protect them and strengthen a little bit of what we've been able to do. Without naming any of the names, there's at least 3 or 4 that I'm well aware of that have taken advantage of many of our community members, basically fleecing them into contracts and commitments that are just outlandish that we have ourselves reported. So I think this would be good for the city.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council?
Just one. Section 10 is very important. This ordinance takes effect on May 1st, 2026. After its passage, approval, and publication in the manner provided by law, and shall apply to all sewer permits, sewer contractor license applied for or renewed on or after the date. So it goes into effect May 1st, and I don't know what the publication part of it'll be, whether you're gonna actually notify everybody that we've already got permits with, how that's gonna
Yeah,
work, but
so-
it's definitely needed.
Yeah, so we are going to notify all the contractors, so we have already invoiced those, the current licenses expire at the end of April. So it's kind of unfair to change the, we have people in the process of being renewed right now, so if approved tonight, we will send a letter out to all of our contractors.
Okay, thank you, Nick, once again. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. Chair would entertain a motion for 8-13, please.
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 4388-25/26, amending Pekin City Code, Chapter 3, Article 4, Fire Prevention and Protection regarding the adoption of the 2024 International Fire Code and repealing the previously adopted 2015 International Fire Code, amending Chapter 3, Article 4, Division 2, Section 3-4-2-10 regarding key boxes and creating Chapter 3, Article 4, Division 4, lift assistance be approved.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Fletcher and second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dossi.
I'm going to have Chief Reese go ahead and present this.
Mr. Reese. Chief Reese.
Thank you. Bunch of the same stuff Nick said, which is, I had to pay the clerk off to go second, and I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher, I tried to get that title way down, but Nicole's a stickler. Again, this is just updating our piece of the code to kind of coincide with the, all the codes that Nick is responsible for. In addition to that, we did a little bit of cleanup because the fire department within the code can be found in multiple different places because of our emergency management aspect of our oversight. So the biggest thing with that is we updated some language with Knoxbox, making it a little more for today, the size specific of what we were looking for. And then with the lift assist, nothing changed with that ordinance other than its location within the code. It was under fire prevention with the fire code. We moved it over to the emergency services side of things with 911, use of 911 system and things like that. I do want to publicly thank my fire prevention officer, Josh Peterson, who did the heaviest lift, and Nick for his help making sure that all these codes kind of go together so they can be enforced equally and fairly. So,
Thank you. Any questions from council? Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. I know that that was a lot of work, so thank you, everyone that helped in that. Chair would entertain a motion for 8-14, please.
Madam Mayor, excuse me, I move ordinance number 4389-25/26, amending Pekin City Code by creating and adopting a fee schedule regarding fees and charges for activities in the fire department. Be approved.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Fletcher and second by Mr. Nutter. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. The city is currently charges fees for the fire department services, but the fees included in the city code, one, are not contained in a simple location for anyone to easily find, and two, many have not been updated in 10 to 20 years or more. In an effort to be more accurate and transparent, staff would like to update the fees and eliminate the sections of the code housing the fees that are sporadically placed in favor of a single fee schedule adopted by the council. This will make city operations both more transparent and efficient for businesses and the public. This ordinance updates the fire department's fee and fine schedule to better reflect current service demands and operational costs. It includes adjustments to fees for plan reviews, permits inspections and certain emergency responses, as well as standardized fines for violations of the city's fire codes. The updates are intended to support cost recovery, improve compliance with fire and life safety regulations, and ensure the fire department can continue providing effective and efficient services to the community. Staff is recommending approval of this ordinance. And Chief Reese or Deputy Chief Rindleman can answer any questions.
Thank
Anyone?
you. Real quick, this was in an effort to match what the buildings department had done, I think it was last year or the year before.
Okay.
Pulling it out of the language of the contract to where, or of the code, to where somebody can go in and easily see the fees or fines. None of this is intended to be a revenue generator, but rather to be more like cost recovery with time. Plans reviews, those sort of things take a long time and a lot of staff time.
All right.
So.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your effort. Any questions? Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. We have now come down to 8:15, which is a discussion of solid waste request for proposal. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. I put out to council back around, I believe, March 13th, this memo with some attachments and things regarding the solid waste department. I know we had a initial discussion regarding the recycling, but at the same time, we had the RFP that was already out. We received that on February 27th. There was one response to that, and that was from GFL. Basically, we took the information we had with GFL. I sat down, I met with Mr. Nutter. I had a couple conversations with some other council in regards to some questions they had, and just tried to pick Mr. Nutter's brain as far as what he knew on the past recycling RFPs. And we came up with a list of questions that we sat down and we met with GFL on to get some clarifications. One being, with what they did propose was just what they would charge for that pickup service. That did not include the landfill or recycling fees. Those were separate. So we broke that down. We came up with, what would be the additional cost to them. So we were able to kind of come up with a cost comparison side by side on that. And basically, in year one, there was roughly about a 75-cent per month savings to the residents, but over the course of the contract or the agreement, with the way the escalations are built in, we took an average on the landfill and on the recycling of about a 3%. And if you recall, in that contract, on both of them, it was based on whatever CPIU was, and not to exceed 6% in the first 5 years of the landfill and the recycling contracts. The solid waste was going to be 5% across the life of the contract. If we outsourced to them, they were going to do a built-in, and part of that was because they're in current negotiations. They don't know what they're going to be settling for in their contracts. So they were, I guess, guesstimating or estimating a 5% increase, and that's what they were going to pass on. So you have that 5%. In the landfill, you have, I took the average of 3%. I just went down the middle on that. CPI is usually 2.5 or 3% on that, and we were able to come pretty close on it. So year 5, they passed what Pekin was going to be at, and Mr. Aerosmith was correct. We're $1 per year, I think, until 2030, and then we go to 3% based on that, which that's where you start to see the significant increases start taking place with GFL. Mm-hmm. So I put that information in there. It really came down to what we call the incidentals, some of the things that we do. They will match. They'll pick up the unlimited cans. They'll pick up the unlimited yard waste bags. But where it starts to get into is like bulk pickup. Right now, we charge $10 for the sticker, they charge $40. Some of the questions we're gonna have were special pickups, so like if code enforcement's getting the complaint about the mattress in the alley, it's gonna be a $75 charge, and it's probably gonna come directly to the city on that. Same thing for some of the other stuff that we use solid waste for right now. Not every encampment that we do a cleanup, or sometimes we do a code enforcement cleanup for a junked up yard. If the solid waste department can fit it in, they do it for us. We end up just paying the landfill fee, but we're not paying the labor necessarily for the pickup with that. Some we do still contract out because it requires, you know, a certain heavy equipment and things to do those cleanups. To Mr. Aerosmith's point, I did not include in here that GFL does pretty much own everything around here. They bought out X-Waste. They brought out some other ones. In conversation that I had with Mr. Shangroff from GFL, you know, it's not saving us millions of dollars. It's not saving us hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's some slight stuff, and they honestly did, you know, they came in, if anything, it showed that when we made the rate increase, we're right where we should be for the market for what we're charging. Some of the things, and we have, it's 6 one way, half a dozen another. I know we look at cost allocations. We've talked about that, whether you like it or you don't like it. That is how some of our accounting goes, and some of the staff salaries are charged to those different accounts, you know, whether it's human resources, administration, or other departments, there is some cost allocating. We are not unique in that. Many municipalities do similar things depending on what they have. We did look at what our sludge was. I did provide all that information to council for the past 3 years to show what we're paying for that. So I guess I would just have some, if you guys had some questions, I don't think I need to go into great detail on what I provided to you. I provided you a lot.
You did.
So I'm hopeful that it answered as many questions. I'm probably certain I missed something, because there's a lot to it when you start digging through it and you're looking at the history and everything else. And I did to Councilwoman Phillips and Fletcher when they first got elected. I provided them the study that we did at that time with how we came up with that increase. But I just think their response, and they came in aggressive. They did come in aggressive on this. I think it just showed that we're right. We were pretty close to where we needed to be when we made that increase. So I know a lot of people complain about it, but if you start looking at these other communities next to us, they're paying a lot more. And I know Mr. Nutter, one of the questions we had was a la carte. It's all or none. I called specifically and asked that, and they said that was going to be the charge. It's not, if you don't recycle, you can't withdraw recycling. It's all in on that. So we did go down that path with them, and I think we answered most of the questions that were out there and provided a lot of information. So I'm just looking for direction. If council wants me to bring something up formally to vote on, I can do that for the next council meeting. If we're going to retain it in-house, I plan on bringing ordinance change for the 96-gallon recycle cans. And I do think we can do a $1.50 reduction for 65 plus with seniors. Our question is we don't know how many are going to apply for and get that, and it's possible that next fiscal year, as we have a time or opportunity to see how many people apply for that, we can actually apply some math to that. We might be able to increase that discount at a later date, but we felt $1.50 was reasonable to start with. That would go into effect on May 1st, and we would be able to just, as they roll, people need to understand that, and Eric can correct me on this, I believe it's in arrears, so it would be the following month's bill. So when you apply, it would be the following month's bill that discount would apply to. So those would be the ordinance changes I would be bringing forward to
I do too, but-
council if we determine that we're going to maintain it in-house.
Okay, and I would like, if we choose to keep it in-house and we choose to give the $1.50 reduction for people over 65, I would ask that we keep putting out on the website, when you turn 65, when you turn 65, come in, because I know just working at the treasurer's office, people would say, you get a deduction when you're 65? Yes. Keep putting it out there on the website, somehow, just keep getting it out there.
And I just want to add in here, Josh brought up, because I did leave it out, is there's always there's uncertainty about the recycling grant.
Yeah.
They have said that, I know one council member reached out to them, and they said that it would continue, but we've also been told it wouldn't continue, then we don't know if there'll be a reduction. We included it in our figures that grant would continue, so we included those numbers.
Because that comes through the county.
It comes from the
Yeah,
county, and I don't know, I don't understand how they come up with the numbers they come up with. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but I can't answer what I don't know from them. But we don't know if it gets outsourced, if we lose it. We don't know if it continues, but we count it as if it would continue.
Yeah, okay. I think Ms. Hoheimer had a question.
As far as downtown activities, GFL would not be cleaning up after those, right?
As far as like the downtown party event?
Yeah.
or-
We would have to have that contracted out, an additional cost.
I think they would, if we were to do that, they would pick up the city trash and things like that.
What
That
about
was all
down at the
part of it.
riverfront?
Pardon me?
The riverfront.
Those are all questions I would have to go back and dig into a little bit deeper on. The issue with the riverfront is sometimes we have to pick them up multiple times.
Yes.
Depending on, during, summer it gets worse. Sometimes.
And
we
the
get it
homeless
several
camps.
times. And the encampments, that's going to be a different beast. They're going to charge us as a
Right.
contractor would. Yes.
Right. Where right now, it's being done in-house.
Right. A lot of it's done in-house unless it's significant, like the one down by the paper product place, they
Right.
outsourced that with a contractor because it was such a big area that had to get
Right.
cleaned up. It just depends on how big the site is.
Okay. Are you finished? Anyone else? Mr. Flesher?
So, John, the only thing I didn't, I haven't made up my mind one way or another, I'll be honest with you. But there's no information in your report there on savings for the taxpayers for what comes off the back end, employees. Work comp, insurance liability, that type of thing. I'd like to see that included.
We'll look into that.
Please do. Like I said, I haven't made up my mind, but I know that this is not complete. And you said, you're looking for guidance, so.
It's because it's the enterprise fund, we're just trying to figure out here.
You left that open,
how we can show
Fletcher.
that.
You did good on that. Like I say, I haven't made up my mind, but I would like to see what the effect of that end of it would be.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr.
Yes.
Nutter?
John didn't answer all my questions because
why I
I
said
didn't
he
have.
left it open.
I didn't have all the questions until I got this. So this is going to probably be addressed to Simon. I know we talked about, thank you, Mr. Vasselli. Yeah. Talked about the side load trucks and all the issues that are going on with those. So this is a double-ended question. Eventually, we're going to have to replace those trucks. So would we be looking, number one, if we keeping side load trucks in-house? The second question goes to Eric. Okay, we already have a lease agreement in there. Have we paid for the 26 payment? So the 26 payment is already made,
That is correct.
okay? So now we come down to, in that contract with GFL, says they'll purchase those side load trucks for $800,000 upon review.
Right.
So can we transfer the agreement or not?
So for the agreement, I don't believe it'd be a transfer of agreement. They would just buy it out and buy that
They do the
equipment.
buyout
Yes.
at the last couple
That's
years
what
that we've got
the-
set
Their
up.
initial 800,000 would be for.
Sorry.
I was going to say, though, but we do need to verify, though, if that covers what we have left for purchase.
There's a purchase option price built into the lease agreements that we have for the garbage truck. So we could buy it out and they could pay it. They could pay us and we could buy it out.
So we need that number for sure
Yep.
if we're gonna do that, because long-term, okay, let's say we stick with what we have. A side load truck is not gonna be any cheaper than it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago for
Sure.
sure.
Yep.
So, there's an expense that really is not included in the numbers. Is that correct?
Well,
For our side of the charge?
for
Or
our
is
service
it?
charge, and we've got, I'm going to go back and double check, but I believe in my 27 budget, I included the cost for starting to cycle out those side load trucks.
Nice.
Okay.
That's nice.
I think in Appendix D, you had all the lease information in there with those numbers. I didn't calculate those in there
Okay,
because if they,
D.
it's all gonna have to be part of what we negotiate with. They expressed interest in it, doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna purchase those.
Exactly, well,
Right,
that's why I'm
so-
asking, you don't know, we know they aren't gonna
Right. That's why I didn't
purchase.
go into great detail on that, because
Okay.
that's kind of an unknown out there. That's why I put all the information in the resolution and all the financials that Eric had, that where we were at on the loans, what was owed, and get kind of an idea where that was going.
So the other question I have, and it's related to monetarily, we already know we got 2 people that are off currently. If they choose to retire, do we know the number that would be in for at least 1 or 2 people in there? What the I don't want to say buyout, but
Well,
contractually,
they're-
what,
Well, not, yeah, it's just what they would be owed, like vacation time and all those
But
things in
yes,
there.
I know that.
I mean, that's a number we can go calculate up.
I know you
The
don't.
good thing about solid waste is they do use their time. So, but it's also the beginning of the year and they would have been replenished with their time. So it's
Okay.
out there.
But it's a valuable number to know
Yeah.
if we're not
Yeah,
gonna,
and that's a number we can calculate up. That's no problem.
And Mayor,
Josh does have some input here.
Mr. Abel.
Yeah.
Were you done?
Josh had something, Mayor, real quick.
yeah, just
Mr.
wanted to, clarify, there may be one-off expenses like buying trucks or leasing trucks or doing vacation payments, but the point of the city's dollar increase a year, like our fees that are planned for the next few years are planned to cover those types of expenses. Like, we wouldn't be adding to our fee schedule additional dollars to cover expenses like that, like it's built in. So when you say, for example, maybe we're not accounting for some expense, I believe we are. I mean, the point of the increases was to make sure that we cover the needs for the future, like new trucks and things like that. Now, to Mr. Fletcher's question about cost allocation of insurance and all those things, if we're making improvements in the finance department. Eric's doing a great job of making sure we're doing those things correctly. All those expenses should already be in the solid waste fund. They, I won't say they're perfect, but that's something we can check into to verify certainly, but it should be included in those fees.
And as I stated to Mr. Nutter here, if the 2 that would retire or whatever he was, if they're injured and not coming back or whatever, we would hire somebody at a lesser salary and to come in, because they'd be brand new. Yeah. Mr. Abel.
One quick question, our 2 cleanups a year, we got the contract.
Oh, yeah.
Come on that.
That was part of what their
Yeah,
proposal
that's part-
was. They had the
2
cleanups in
cleanups.
there.
Yeah, okay.
It would just be like we do it now. They bring out the dumpsters, we'd still host it here, and they just
Okay.
haul it off.
All right.
I got a
So-
couple.
Mr. Hilst.
So on the monthly fees, where did the extra roughly $7 a month come from on the first year for GFL? So when you look at what they said they were gonna charge, and the city has added roughly $7 to that, I know part of that, I guess, is from the landfill and the recycle tipping fees. Where's the rest of that coming from?
You have, so you have the recycle and the tipping fees. Then you also have the monthly charge if they're doing the billing, because we want to be out of it altogether, correct? So that would be an extra $1.50 in there for that.
If they're doing the billing?
They would be doing the billing. We'd be getting out of it completely. That's the intent, right?
Well, wouldn't they have put their $1.50 in there on their own fee?
No, they were wanting us to, if they were anticipating we would continue doing the billing.
So it says in there somewhere in their proposal that if they do the billing, that's gonna be another $1.50.
That was in our conversation when we met with them.
Okay. So it was those three items then?
Yeah.
Okay. So they said that they would pay for all the landfill processing fees that we currently pay for, right?
No, that's part of the landfill contract now. I guess
So
I don't understand.
the landfill is in that additional $7 that got added into it. So the initial RP quote
I
was,
thought they had language in their proposal that says they will pay for the processing of that.
That was yard waste.
yeah, yard waste specifically.
I'm sorry, that's
Yeah.
what I meant, yard
Yeah.
waste. I apologize.
Yeah, yes, yard waste is covered in
Yes,
that
okay.
cost.
So I'll go back to a couple things that Jake hit on. So overtime, we have no idea how much overtime, that's just something, and if we got people out, you're gonna have that overtime. People calling in, you're gonna have that overtime. The not working 8 hours a day, but still getting paid for 8 hours, which has been brought up multiple times. And I don't know how many times I've asked about getting time clocks down there, but apparently that seems to be an issue. So we're gonna keep our manual time sheets down there. People are getting done with their routes before their 8 hours, and then they just sit down there for the rest of the day in the cab of their truck and get paid for 8 hours. Not efficient. 2 people on a truck, I'll just use my street for an example. I don't know how many years we've had one rear load truck that would come down our street with one guy on it and do that route for years. And all of a sudden, one day, there was 2 people on that truck. And sometimes there's 2 people on a rear load truck and the side load truck comes down also. So now you got 2 trucks and 3 employees doing a route that used to be done with 1 truck and 1 employee. Again, seems like not very efficient. The maintenance on the trucks, Simon just talked about starting to, get rid of some of them older ones and start leasing the newer ones because they're having problems with the old ones already. So you're constantly gonna have that lease amount, that lease payment every year on those trucks. Fuel cost, I know we got an agreement now where we're getting some cheaper fuel, thankfully, but that's still gonna be a cost. And the overall personnel cost, I mean, those are obviously gonna go up, just like everything else. So those are some things that we wouldn't have to deal with if we outsourced it. That will be one less department that we wouldn't have to worry about. Wouldn't have any more pensions coming in under that particular department, which would be a savings down the road. I'll go to service and complaints. I don't know if the city keeps track of any of those down here or not, but I've had a lot of complaints about the solid waste department, and for multiple different reasons. And I know there was some language you put in there, Mr. Dawsey, about the city actually provides a little bit better service because they're not specifically required to pick anything up off the ground, but occasionally they do that. I've had complaints where they've dumped totes into the trucks, something fell out into the street, and they didn't even pick that up, just drove on down the road. I've had complaints that totes were not specifically parallel to the curb with their wheels, so the side load truck didn't pick them up. And going back and looking at the ring door camera, it was the side load truck that actually pushed it diagonally when it tried to pick it up the first time. And instead of getting out and moving it back and dumping it, they just drove on down the road. I've had complaints of people's garbages, the lids being lifted up, broken broom handle that was in their garbage tote. The driver pulled it out, threw it up in their front yard. Just a lot of different complaints like that. So, and this isn't a dig on the entire department, because I've talked to enough people. There's a lot of people that love their garbage driver currently. They've never had a problem with them. And then there's other people that have problems all the time with them. So I guess it just depends on what geographical area you live in the city and who your driver is and who's picking it up. But it's still out there. And just certain areas, I guess, I don't know, but.
Well, in regards to the complaints,
Mhm.
if you're not passing them on to me, I can't fix the problem, but I can assure you, when I've received the complaints, and you can ask Simon, Brian, they get a text message or they get notification, and they go back and they take care of the problem. And I've had good conversations with people who weren't happy, but we were able to resolve the issue or fix the problem. Whether the garbage can was broken, they didn't know what to do. I've even seen the comments out there on the social media recently. Have you called the city? Because they came out and they fixed mine and I didn't get charged for it. So, you know, we can only take care of it. Unfortunately, the culture in Pekin is they call and complain to the council member and it doesn't necessarily get passed to the staff. I know you've talked to me about the 2 men on the truck, and I had the same conversation with GFL. They have 2 men on the truck, especially the bulk.
That wouldn't
the
matter.
bulk truck.
That's up to them. They could have 4 men on a truck.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you know, some of that bulk items out there require 2 people lift, and that's
Yeah,
how they
but
get sent out there.
these are
So-
running entire routes. These aren't just for
Okay,
bulk
I
pickups.
I don't know, but, you know, operationally, they run what they need for that day. But as far as the complaints go, you have to let Simon or me know so that we can go out and we can address it.
I've tried to do my best, and the people that I talked to have even said when they call down to complain, nobody answers the phone, which is just another complaint that I get.
477-2300, and they pass it right on to whoever
Right.
they need to, whether it's Simon or Brian, they get the complaint.
Right.
I have a question. I don't think complaints are gonna stop if we farm it out to someone else. There's gonna be some complaints.
Right, you can't necessarily, I mean, they could very well continue, and now it's just a step more removed
Yeah,
in order
yeah,
to
I'm just-
address
I'm-
an issue.
Nobody's gonna be perfect.
Sure.
So then they're gonna call the city.
Yeah,
To complain, and then the city has to call GFL to get it taken care of.
Yeah.
We
And
shouldn't
we
do that.
You know, Councilmember Hills, I do get a fair amount of direct calls myself, as well as Brian, for issues with the trash.
Right.
And so we address those as they come up. And it's a kind of an ongoing situation, as is with employees sometimes, or continued counseling, in order to try and modify behavior. Or sometimes it's just, you know, they may may not see that the trash is falling behind the truck after it's dumped. But, no, I understand. And again, back to you know, there's no guarantee, obviously, that GFL would be picture perfect, or any other trash service for that matter.
Mayor, if you don't mind, also, like on the financial analysis, if there are efficiencies to be gained, that's great. There's always going to be some efficiencies to be gained. If there's things that we're doing now that are costing more dollars than they should be, our current fees include those quote-unquote inefficiencies. So if Simons finds those inefficiencies and is able to make the department run better, then you all have the option to potentially drop the fee if we're saving dollars. If you outsource it, you don't have that option. The fees are the fees.
Yeah.
So if there are inefficiencies, which it probably are, nobody's perfect, no department's perfect, the opportunity is maybe to even be even cheaper than GFL,
Yeah.
based on this proposal.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and you bring up a good point there too, that was brought up during public input about the fees and about how, roughly, I believe, within 5 years, it was stated that, GFL would start increasing by 5%, where the city would only be increasing by 3%. But there again, you enter into a contract with GFL for 5 years or 5 years with 2 optional 1-year agreements, whatever the case may be, at least you know you're getting that price for that length of time of the contract. Obviously, you don't know what the next contract's gonna come down the line, but with the council and the way we got our fees set up, like right now, they're going up $1 a year, correct? And then, 2030 or 31, whenever it is, they're gonna start going up 3%. You could have a lot of different councils sitting up here in the next, 4 to 8 years that change that. So
But again, it's
today,
local-
it may be gonna
local
go up
control.
3% 6 years down the road, but 6 years down the road, you get different council up here, it might be 5%.
Sure, and I'd submit, though, that those councils, whomever they may be, would still have to, would have the public input as to the rate and the increase.
Right.
And would be as behooving to adjust as necessary as you would be, you currently are. Yeah. So I
So
understand.
4
about the-
votes at any time can change all the language and what those garbage fees are.
Sure.
And it's
Of
local
anything.
control, that's the key words. It's local control, because if it's outsourced,
Yeah.
once the
Not-
trucks are gone, you're not probably gonna get back into it, because you're talking millions of dollars to get back
Right,
into
yeah,
it.
that's,
They did.
They did.
And that's in there, and it was, they were able to get back into it.
You did
but
put it in there, that's right.
Today's, with what the trucks cost today, good luck. Yeah.
And GFL would be able to charge whatever they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the
If
contract,
they are
they can
a
come back
monopoly,
in and
they can charge what they want.
who knows what else they're gonna own by then.
Okay.
So I'm just looking for the direction.
Yeah, I
that
was gonna
you
say,
want.
what
I
are you
have a-
needing today?
I have a comment about the efficiency thing. We have asked for that for 3 years, and it hasn't happened. I know there's inefficiencies, all you gotta do is drive around, and it's not the getting back early. The question is, why are they getting back early? The whole thing, the efficiency, we need to be serious about that, because I'll guarantee you, GFL will find the most efficient way to operate, because they're in business to make money, obviously.
I'll piggyback on that. I don't know in 2026 that there are very many companies that fill out handwritten time cards. We should be punching in when we get in the truck and punching out when we get out.
and so I have not yet looked at the cost of an
I
automated
was
system.
just gonna say,
but
that's a cost, yeah.
I can definitely look.
Maybe so, yeah.
We had an efficiency study done 10 years ago in 2016. There's language in that said to get rid of manual timesheets, 10 years ago.
So the other question I have, so the city is still gonna bill the resident, correct? If we go to, let's say we go to GFL.
That was not
No.
the plan. If we were gonna get unloaded, we were gonna get, correct?
Right.
Yeah, we didn't wanna do.
Well, that's why I want to clarify this. So if we get out of it 100%, the billing goes to
GFL,
GFL.
correct.
That would be the plan.
So there would possibly be a savings for what we spend on the billing side internally, possibly. So again, that comes down to all the allocations that we've got in there, almost $500,000 worth of allocations. So there's a lot to look at this thing, a lot to
One
look
other thing
at.
too, if we are no longer sending anything out, whenever we do a stuffer, a flyer that we want to stuff in there, we won't be doing that.
You'd still have the wastewater bill, you just wouldn't have garbage on it.
Correct.
Garbage would
All
just,
right, all
the
right,
the
yep,
billing
I
still stays the
apologize.
same,
Okay,
so.
yep.
But there's a lot to look at, and I appreciate this.
Pardon me?
It's a lot to read.
Yeah, I don't know, okay. Anyone want to say anything else? What's the direction we want to give to them?
I would prefer to keep it in-house.
I would like to see us at least vote on it.
Well, we're going to vote on it, but yeah, we have to vote on
Oh,
it.
I thought you said if you got consensus that we were keeping
No,
it
I'm
in-house.
asking for what else you want me to pull up that I haven't thought of in here that, I mean, you have a lot of stuff that's here.
Well, they just brought up a good point on the allocations. I mean, I don't know what all the individual percentages are on those, but if GFL took it over, I mean, that's a lot of time that people are getting
But we're
paid that are doing work associated with the solid waste department. That'd free up a lot of staff time, wouldn't it?
Well, we'd still have the complaints coming into
Have
us
something
first.
else sitting
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
that might have impact on it. That's why we considered
Yeah.
that we wouldn't have the.
Well, complaint-wise, shouldn't come to the city, it's GFL. Set that number in there that you got complaints about your garbage service, GFL's got to respond, not the city.
Well, I'm,
If,
They will, they'll call us.
so John, I'm sure you took several notes on what we've asked. Why don't you try to put some amendment into your
Well-
thing that you gave us sometime in the next 7 to 10 days, and then
Yeah.
we can go from there. I mean, this doesn't have to be done the next council meeting, does it?
No, it does not have to be done, but I do want to state,
I'm trying to, because I want to try to get it as close to May 1st as I can.
Oh, that would be
I
nice.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Because I know
every
it's-
night we get as many as we can crammed in here, and it's,
I know.
mean,
I, with what
I
was
think I
brought
have
to
enough
us.
direction
yeah,
here. I can
With
get
what
some
was brought to
information out
us, with what was brought to us, I think, first I want to thank you. This is outstanding. You did do a very thorough job. And if I had to vote today, I would vote to keep it in-house too, so it's my opinion. So,
Well, keep in mind, we also have another council member that's not here.
that's what I was gonna say. She's needs some input as
I-
well.
I just made we'll get it on here for everybody to vote on it. And, I mean, that's my suggestion to you, is get it on an agenda for us to see any of the questions that were brought up to you tonight.
I'll reach out with any questions I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
and make sure
I will tell you, I did reach out to Peg, and she is very, very sick. So, because I wanted to see. I know, Karen too. I'm thinking I'm sandwiched in here between two people. Fletcher too? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. All right. So that's your direction, I think, is let's get it to a point, answer some of the questions if you can, dig in even more, and let's bring it to council. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other business to come before council? Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder that on March 27th, this Friday, the groundbreaking for the House of Hope takes place at 10 a.m. Notification that 8th Street south of Court will be closed this Wednesday, probably for the next couple of months. April 25th is going to be the spring cleanup. We're talking about solid waste. The question you already asked, I think we're at about 750, it was the number I got, of the recycle cans that are out there as of the end of today. And then Sue McMillan, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of her passing, but it is her birthday this Friday as well, so just keep her in your thoughts for that and all she did for the city. And I think Josh has something?
Yeah, I apologize. I forgot to tell John earlier. Two things. Number one, our energy brokers reminded me that we will be coming up on another opt-out period. We, if you remember, had a 10-month
yeah.
agreement. We'll be coming up on the opt-out period for the electric aggregation program. I'll make sure that the city's webpage on that, under the residents tab, is up to date. Anybody can call me for questions. Any council members that want to understand that better, we can sit down and go through it, because it's a fairly complicated matter. The second thing I wanted to note is that Congressman LaHood's office opened their congressional project funding over the last couple weeks. We did apply for 2 grants based on the city's strategic plan. We applied for a grant for road reconstruction funding for Derby Street, as well as for fire station construction. So I'm not sure when we'll hear back, but those 2 grants have been applied for.
Any and all. Awesome. Any and all. Any other staff members? Mr. Hills. Mr. Hills, sorry.
Got multiple things. I'm just kidding.
You did.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking at the time, I'm saying, thank you, Lord. Mr. Nutter. say
The sad part is he passed them all to me, so I get to read them. Now, Mr. Vaselli? Last meeting, you made a commitment to me about the ethics update. I'm going to give you a pass because of all the previous work that worked on WHP, so I'll look forward to seeing it tomorrow. Thank you. That's all I have.
Midnight, 12:01 a.m.?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. That's the effective date.
Mr. Fletcher.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Abel.
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Hoheimer.
I have something. At our last meeting, I said a few words about my friend and the mother of our police chief, Gloria Ranney, and the profound impact of her programs across our community. From feeding the hungry and clothing the needy to shaping young lives as a teacher and principal, and mentoring so many through the Pekin Outreach Initiative and Grace United Methodist Food Pantry, always working faithfully alongside her husband, Greg. Tonight, I want to focus on something even more powerful, how her spirit continues to live on. Just days after her quiet passing, 45 dedicated volunteers gathered in the basement of Grace United Methodist Church this last Saturday, and we packed nearly 3,000 snack packs, the very program she kept alive through her tireless determination and caring heart. The gathering was Gloria's legacy in action. Today, Greg continues their important work, and the volunteers' response shows us that one person's compassion can multiply into hundreds of helping hands and thousands of acts of kindness. To our remarkable community volunteers, I thank you. You are the heart of Pekin, and you make us proud every day. And to the citizens listening tonight, I want to urge you, be like Gloria. Let Gloria's example inspire you to step up as well. Volunteer, serve, care. Together we can keep her light shining brightly for every child, every family, and every neighbor who needs us. Gloria Ranney may be gone, but her legacy grows stronger through Greg and through all of us who choose to be difference makers for the good of our community. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. I just want to mention that I had said it earlier after the Pledge of Allegiance today, you know, America, we are celebrating 250 years of freedom. So I have already given Mr. Dossie direction to, and he has passed it on to Mr. Grimm, to start looking into a flag that says that we will fly, or horizontal ones, or vertical, sorry. Anyway, for flags that say 250 years. 4th of July is on a Saturday. I would like to check into, maybe we can't, but maybe we should check into something on Pekin celebrating, you know, a parade, or a downtown party, something that maybe we can do to celebrate our freedom. Pardon me? Oh, I thought somebody said something. We need to also, I want the public to know that last year we had opened up the time capsule, and in there was letters for 50 years ago that the mayor and different department heads had wrote. And so I will be putting a letter in there, my prediction in 50 years from now. And that's why I always say I have a big vision, and I look for 40 years out, look 40 years out. Anyway, so anyone that wishes to have something put in the time capsule, we are not going to actually bury it. We're going to seal it, because even burying it, some of the stuff just after 50 years, it still even got destroyed a little. Not a lot, but a little. So we will be sealing something. If somebody has something they'd like to write Maybe you want to write just a little letter, or maybe you have something that you would like someone to see 50 years from now. We will also write an instruction letter that the new people at City Hall, in 50 years from now, open up the time capsule. So, with that, I need a motion to go into executive. And I know it's a long evening, I'm sorry.
120/2C, 5 ILCS 120/2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. 5 ILS 120/2C5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Fletcher and second by Mr. Abel. Do we need a break?
Yeah.
All right, we
Just a
will take a
5-minute,
5-minute break. Pardon me?
We gotta, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Council, take your vote, please. I keep forgetting to vote to go into executive. I don't know why.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
It's been a long one, man.
I can't sit long anymore.
That's what,
Motion passes 6-0.
4 hours sitting still.
I know. Hey, you guys, hey, can I ask them, since they're all right here, can I ask them a question, or can we not?